That's it. We are live. Today is an extra day, Saturday, the 17th of November 2018. Very pleased to have Josh from FE Brothers with us channel. Hello, Josh.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Hey, you were just explaining before we went live that you had never done this before. This is like your first hangout.
Yep, first one. First one, so go easy on me. Yeah, first, yeah,
we were.
first one. I'm glad I can't hear the booze in the background, like, "Boo, get them off here."
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Nah,
you're an
nah,
amazing channel.
yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I really do want to kind of get way out of our comfort zone and start doing stuff like this because I usually shy away from the live stuff because I know that with the way it is, I'm kind of a people pleaser and I don't want to start saying things to like what people want to hear. And if I ever am filming a video and I feel myself doing that, I try to go, pause, start over, because it's really not about what people want to hear, and that's the hardest thing, especially when I started gaining subscribers. I was like, because it seemed to happen overnight. I was like, oh, geez, what does everybody want to hear now? There's people wanting to watch our videos. What do I do? And it was like, stop it. Just, you know, stay humble. Know that we don't have all the answers. Keep seeking truth and try to spread some kindness and love and show some people how to treat others who are on the outside because sometimes the only people we can reach each day is a bunch of trolls coming at us. And if it's just one out of that 20, that's one that we didn't have and probably wouldn't have if we just said, whatever, globetard, go away. So, um,
Well,
I,
I have to say, considering this is your first hangout, you're already doing very well.
well, thank you.
It's not for everyone though going live because it is sort of going out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
But once you start, if that's your niche or whichever bit you're in Flat Earth, you can't help it. So if
Mm-hmm.
I have a day off, I think I'm not doing something. But you've done very well, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh,
Yes.
how long has your channel been going for then?
Over a year. Last year, last school year. I judge my time since I'm a teacher by school years.
Oh yeah,
last
you just
last
explained
school
it.
year, it was the beginning of the school year, and I had another channel, and I literally started out because some miracles had just happened, and I was wanting to just because I was finding out that God, the Father, Yahuwah, what you want to call him, was not who we've been told, and the way we walk around condemning ourselves and feeling so defeated like we always do. And I think a lot of Christians, especially the ones that I talk to, and pretty much everybody, it's kind of just lukewarm. That's kind of where the enemy wants us all to be, to where we kind of almost feel good about our spiritual walk and then we stumble. And I was just constantly up and down, just kind of the roller coaster. And but when some miracles started happening, and it was one of the second major miracles that's happened to me, and I mean, there's many, but one of the second major ones, and it had to do with my mom. And I was just so excited and just thankful and just like, oh my gosh, he's listening to me. Why is he listening to me? And we ask for things sometimes thinking we're ready. And I had been on a rampage going after evolution because it's a big part of our standard, and I know that it's a hoax and all of that. Well, I remember I was trying to get this story in order. I was going after all these lies about God on that new channel that I just started, and testifying and doing all these things. And I was like, man, something's not lining up. I would go outside and I just felt like there was a distance. Like God was wanting me to show us something, but I wasn't really quite taking it in. And I feel like I'm looking up at the moon, I'm looking up at the stars, and I'm like, just, I'm ready for you to show me the truth about creation, about everything. Just show me. And then literally the next day is when I kind of came into this stuff. I was like, I take it back. I'm not ready. This is too much. I think we forget how much it is. It's so deep and there's so many parts of it, but it was just the Holy Spirit's like, you want to know the truth. This is the truth. I created the earth. It's stationary, and it was quite amazing. It was mind blowing. I just sat back in my chair like, no one's going to, who is going to believe me? Like, what am I going to do? Like, I started talking to my wife. She was one of the first people, and she just looked at me like, okay, darn, we're already married. What do I do? But she's been really awesome. Now she's a truther. I mean,
Does your wife believe like you do?
she does. She's full out now. It's crazy. She's a truther. She's a biblical truther, and she's aware of all the deceptions and stuff like that. She's a unique find. I mean, she's quite unique. I mean, when I met her, she's that's a story all in itself. I don't want to go on to that, but me and her being together is a crazy story. She was my very first girlfriend when I was 9. I think I was 9. She was 10. Yeah, and so she broke up with me when she went into middle school because I was still in elementary school, and we didn't see each other for 15, 16 years. She had 2 kids and was married and divorced and had a really rough situation, kind of a rough life compared to me. I went off to college and had the easy life, and but miraculously we found each other through MySpace, believe it or not, before it went down. And she's like, "What?" I just said, "Hey, you want to meet up sometime?" I was fresh out of an engagement, heartbreak story. That was the other miracle that happened in my life with the healing of a broken heart. But you can watch the video of that. I did a video about that. That was a pretty tough experience, but it was such a game changer for me. Pretty much having the world, having success, and having everything, and losing it, it really puts things in perspective. And so that was, but she came into the picture, and it's been 100 miles per hour since. We now have 4 children, and it's been crazy. It's been crazy to say the least. And now I'm here doing videos all the time. It's kind of hard to balance everything out because I have a beautiful little girl. She's 19 months old, little miracle. She's a super genius, and she says she's always, "Daddy, Daddy, come here," grabbing my finger. So I'd probably put out way more videos if it wasn't for how crazy things are. And now we're coaching full time, me and my brother. His logo is probably the one you're seeing now on the Hangouts, Grace and Truth Fellowship. I don't know why that's showing up as my logo because I'm in my email, but I set up his channel. That probably has something to do with it. But yeah, he may join us. I might see if I can get him to join us later. I might text him if he's home and see if he can join us because he's my twin brother. And I started this channel. I'm kind of skipping around a lot, but I started this channel when my other channel got brought to the attention of an administrator. Once I started talking about the geocentric Earth and the and creation, and I'm a full out creationist, and in science, and especially in high school science or any science position, you can't really be a creationist now. It's just so frowned upon. People don't know there's evidence out there. And
Josh, do you want to explain to people what you said to me before we went live, that you're a science teacher?
Yeah, that's what gets that's what's tough, because when I first started, I was a 6th grade. I was a temporary certified teacher, but I was doing like 6th grade science. I got thrown into this earth science position, and I remember teaching the Coriolis effect with a globe. Like that's what my first experience teaching. That's what they were covering, and I was like, and I believed it. I thought, I'm doing everything right. I'm a smart teacher. I know all this stuff about the earth. Look at these kids. I'm going to educate them, And that's the thing people don't realize. When it's easier to believe something when you're being taught by people who believe it and they're excited about it. And that's what it is. It's not like the people who believe in the globe are evil or anything. We've just all been lied to by people who believe the lies. So it makes it easier to keep teaching it, because you don't feel like, oh no, they're sketchy. No, they're sure of themselves. Everyone is.
Is it worse when you're like, if I call it over here, you'd be called a professional because you're trained and you're teaching. Mm-hmm. Is it worse because it just goes against everything? If you're a science teacher, then it's going to go everything. I mean, it goes against everything anyway, but you're a science teacher.
Yeah, it's really it's challenging, because especially in my department, a lot of the people are huge, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye fans. And now I'm in the high school, literally the year after, because I usually teach biology. We don't show very many videos of Earth, but as soon as I became a flat earther or creationist, a biblical earther, the class I started teaching was environmental science. And day one, we're talking and like, what do you want to show? And everybody in the department's like, let's show on day one the Neil deGrasse Tyson video, the pale blue dot, or was it pale blue dot or the blue marble? I think it's pale blue dot video. I was sitting there just going like, don't say anything. It's so hard, but I know that if I'm not in there with those students, then someone else is, and they're going to be teaching evolution as if it's true. They're going to be teaching the globe Earth as if it's true. So I know I'm there for a reason. I don't want to step out and let someone else do it just because a lot of the standards go against the truth. Most of this world is ran by the people that are either under the influence of the spirit of the Antichrist and they don't even know it, kind of like the globe. So many things are of that same spirit. And that's one thing I figured out.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean about this. Because there is just something, and the poor thing is most of these people don't know, unfortunately. They don't know. This is Robert Ford, who you know. They don't know that they don't know. That's one of his sayings.
Yeah, they don't know. And I've got a real good friend of mine who's he's one of those huge space Star Wars fans. He's a coworker, and I talked to him about this stuff, and he just kind of barely looked into it, and then found a video about gravity or something, and was like, "Here you go, look at this." You know, it's like, so it's not for everyone. A lot of people can't see the deception. Like I said in my video, I did a response to Simon Dan where he was making fun of one of my videos. He really didn't have any points. He just made fun of it, and then everybody started commenting on one of my videos about the hurricane. And he never addressed the deception that I try to put at the end of all my videos, just for those who are new. Maybe it's somebody's first time watching, and they're like, how can they not trust NASA? Well, then you have all this stuff, and there's like the obvious stuff, like the string attached to the satellite back in like '89. I'm like, if you can't see that string, this is not for you. And most people are like, no, it's not for me. I don't see it. And that's like, you know, I hope they see the deception. I just don't want people to be deceived, because if you're deceived now, it's going to get worse.
Isn't it? How some of us just, it goes clink. It just like, usually, okay, you might want to watch more videos and go, no, but you know it goes clink. It just happens. And then for others, it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. My dad was one of those.
Looking at the television screen, it's just some of us can see behind the screen.
Yeah, it's definitely a love of truth and seeking truth. And if you're not looking for it, you'll never see it. I mean, there's some videos where I mean, we kind of want to see stuff and we end up seeing it, but we've seen so many lies our whole life. It's hard to distinguish what's real from what's not sometimes. But and there's little things that set certain people off, like my dad. When I first started talking to him, he's one who set me down before I woke up to this and said, son, because me and him were both spiritually having like this awakening at the same time. It was kind of really strange that it was happening at the same time. He's always been like a truther. Even when like back in the 90s, when I was younger, he would always say, you know, this is what the mainstream believes, and it's not true. And he would it was always about the Bible, and he was spot on. As I got older, I started figuring that stuff out. But he goes, I want you to look at the Bible as if you've never looked at it before, as if no one's ever taught it to you, just with brand new eyes. And I literally woke up within a couple days after that to this truth. And when I started talking to him about it, he's like, nope, that's just wrong. I was like, Dad, take your own advice. and he actually has looked into it. And one thing that was kind of hard for him was like craters and asteroids. And, you know, we all have our own breaking points. And to him, he's like, I could believe in it, but there's that. So it's like, well, okay, you know, there's always an answer for these things. And there's usually an upcoming deception, like with the asteroids. I just did a video about that. A lot of people don't
understand, Josh, that we've had these electrical arkings.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a massive electrical arkings over the time this place has been here.
Yeah.
If you were caught in one of those, you'd have been evaporated.
Yeah, for sure.
And they leave these marks in the ground, and then you've got like Avebury Stone Circle is built in the middle of one of these arkings left on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing what they've told us. I mean, I actually think that those people in the observatories, they need to go to prison. I mean, telling us those things light years away. I don't know whether you agree with this, but we had Marketing Leakey on the other day. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit like, with all the research that he's doing, he's into mud floods and stuff like that. And the fact that we're here for a lot longer and things are very different than they're telling us. Mm-hmm. But basically, if they can only drill down about 8 miles, they can only go up 8 miles. So I thought it was further up, a bit further up than that. And it's like 8 miles. It would just make such sense, because all the renderings we can see, they're in focus. If we can only see for so many miles and they're in focus, they can't be that far away, what we see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always thought that was fascinating, how far down we could dig. And I was seeing research the other day about they're finding more, and I've heard this before a while back, that they're finding there's water, these cavities of water under us that are like more water there than there is in the oceans combined. And I'm like, that kind of reminds me of the fountains of the deep, you know, like when they opened up back when the flood was happening. So like what's below us, we're always told it's magma and all of that. It's usually the opposite of the truth. So if they're saying it's magma, it's probably water. So I mean, it is weird to me that the deepest part that we've ever been in the ocean is around 7 miles or so, and the deepest they say we've ever dug is 7 or 8 miles. And
that just tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah. But we know what's down there.
A great big bit. They were just trying to dig like one hole.
Yeah. They say it's from all the I mean, what I would like to see that, because the one hole that was really deep that they dug, I imagined like a giant hole, and it wasn't very big. It was like they just had it big enough for a drill. I'm like, I would like to actually see them down there trying to dig. Like, why not?
Yeah, it's
Seems
a
like
bit
something
strange
we've
that no
done.
one's tried to do anything since either, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like, oh, nothing to see. Can't get that far. Nah, don't go there anymore. Earth
Yeah,
will
but then
fall.
just before you came on and you said, like, obviously you've not done this before, you said that I just turned up at the right moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of cool because I've been feeling led to do more. I was like, I don't know what. Maybe it's stuff in person. I don't show my face on here because of when my boss was dealing with me about my last channel. I only had like 24 subscribers. It was a small channel, but I was in the mix of putting links on different like space things and sharing information with them. And I had my NASA fails video on that channel with all the NASA fails. It's one of the first videos I put on this channel, and I shared it on. I commented on Facebook on it. Was a reply to somebody's video, and I didn't realize that other random people could see it. I thought it was just the people who had commented on that video or whatever. And apparently, a coworker saw my comment and got upset because it was the Potter's Clay video where he talked about the aurora lights on Jupiter, where you could see they just pasted them onto a previous existing picture of Jupiter, and the article was about Jupiter, and I just pasted that link in there so people could see it. And but I think that's what brought the attention to my boss, that my department head is friends with me on Facebook, saw it, said, look, he doesn't believe in NASA. And then they found my channel and was like, he also doesn't believe in evolution. He doesn't think we came from stardust and monkeys. Let's get him, you know. So he basically said, you've got your face in these videos. This could be end up in the news if people realize, you know, and all this stuff. And I said, okay, all right. And I was upset because I really liked that channel. I was like, you know, I put a lot into this, but I'm just going to back away, start over fresh, brand new channel, keep it anonymous. And it's been a blessing because it's not really about me. I don't put my face in it, and I kind of like that because it's not about us really. It's about the truth and giving the Father glory for what He's done and what He's created, and bring as many people to that truth. And people are always like, "Well, you're not teaching the gospel. That's not, you know, about Jesus and all of that." But so many people can't even know the Father in the first place because of where they think they live and who they think they are and where they came from. And I've just
Amen,
seen
bro.
so many. Oh, hey, is that the Flat Earth dude?
That's the
Yeah.
dude.
All right, Flat Earth
Hey.
dude.
Aloha.
So I was going to introduce you,
Aloha.
Josh. Sorry,
Okay.
Kenny. I was going to introduce you in a minute, but Kenny's just come back from a holiday, haven't you?
Aloha.
Welcome back from Hawaii. That's how they say it over there.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Anyway, you two know each other, and suddenly, but just before we went on, I said Flat Earth Dude, and Josh said Flat Earth Dude. He likes one of your videos, Flat Earth Dude.
Yep,
Cool.
I stole it. No.
Steal away, man. Steal away.
I saw that footage. I was like, that's incredible. The balloons. You could just see the balloons. That was such impressive footage.
It was the Disney movie Up.
Yeah, that's what people kept saying. Like, they're filming Up in real life. We'll find it. That'll be their excuse. They'll have to do that movie now.
I'm like, are you kidding me? That's funny.
How did you find that? Was you just filming the moon and just?
Yeah, it was the day after the eclipse, man, and everybody was hitting me up, man, because I fell asleep. I didn't video the eclipse, man, because it was going to be like at 2 or 3 in the morning. I had to work the next day, so I was like, I got to go to bed, you know.
Yeah.
And so I missed it, but then I got like a million messages. Hey, man, did you get the eclipse? Where's the pictures of the eclipse? And I'm like, I fell asleep, you know. I go, but I'll go out tonight, man, get some nice footage of the moon, you know. And I just set my stuff up and was hanging out. And I thought something was on my lens at first. I go, what is that? I go, there's a bug on my lens or something. And it's my P900. And I just started zooming in. I'm like, you can hear me going, oh, shit, oh, what is that?
You go, what is that?
What the? Because I'm like, my neighbor's house is right there, you know.
Well, we're in there as well.
It was kind of late. It was like around midnight or something. I remember. I think I wrote the time in there. And I was like, shit, what is that? What the? What the? I go, that's
I'm
a
glad
satellite.
you didn't stop filming.
I'm like, zoom, 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 zoom. Yeah. Yeah. You spend hours and hours and hours and days out there, man. You get one thing or two things. Or
That's incredible. I'm glad you were there, and people are there that have fancy cameras. My camera, I've been saving up trying to get a good camera, probably going to end up being a Christmas present, but I can't wait.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I saved up. You know, I sold a couple guitars that I had, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy a P900 because I just want to prove where I live to myself and others as well. So, speaking of proof and kind of a God thing, last night I got home from Hawaii, and you know, I didn't even unpack. I just kind of threw the bags in the living room and just making some coffee and just hanging out. And I go, oh shoot, man, just let me check my email. I got my computer, you know, checking my email, good, whatever. And I go, oh, Poncho's on. I'll just go on there and hang out with those guys for a little bit. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And this guy Dave, which I've met in person, his channel name is New Perspective. You might see him around here or there. He's like, yeah, man, he's moving to California from Chicago, and he was driving through Kingman, Arizona last night and broke down. And I'm like, oh man, that's a bummer, dude. He goes, yeah, I'm broke down. And he goes, I thought I'd just jump on this hangout with you guys because I'm bored. The tow truck driver dropped me off over here at the auto place, and I'm just hanging out with you guys till morning. My battery's dead, and then the auto place will open in the morning, and maybe I can get it fixed or whatever. And I'm like, oh, cool, man. Well, you're in Kingman. I got a buddy, man, who's like lives there, man. He'll come get you or whatever, bring you a battery. What do you need? He goes, no, I'm good, man. I go, dude, my buddy Jamie will hook you up. What do you need, man? Hey, you know, if you're stuck, man, he'll come get you. I'll just, you know, give him a call. I've known this guy 15 years, man. He'll do whatever. You know, if I say I got a buddy broken down, and he'll go get him. He goes, no, the tow truck driver, Jamie, brought me here to this place called TNT Auto. And I'm like, Jamie brought you to TNT Auto. Okay. He goes, yeah, Jamie's like into like motorcycles and stuff. I go, dude, that sounds like my buddy, dude. I go, what's this? I go, what phone number did you have for him? Did he leave you a phone number? He goes, yeah, man. And I go, let's check it. You know, so I get my phone out and I check it. And sure enough, it's Jamie, my buddy. Towed it. Wow. Get this. Here's the kicker, man. TNT Auto. The name of the band I was in with Jamie was called TNT, bro. Get out of here, right?
Wow.
And he's like, we are just bouncing around going, no, what's the chances of that?
That is crazy.
So there's God there for you, man, working.
Yeah, that's amazing how those little things happen like that.
So anyway, I had to jump on and tell that story since you guys were talking about synchronicities and
it's crazy.
Things like that.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's getting channeled into the same direction with the same truth at the same time. And I went to our first Flat Earth meetup. It was a little small one in Chattanooga. I thought it was going to be small, like 5 or 6 people, and it ended up being like almost 40. And,
wow!
I got it. It was through Facebook. Somebody saw me comment on one of these things where I think it was what's the guy? Your Curveless Earth was like, yeah, I meet up in Chattanooga. I saw him do a video, and I was like, I live close to the Chattanooga. I'm right on the other side of the state line. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd like to be there. And so the guy gave me the information. I showed up, and just so many cool people were there. I was like, this is awesome. You know, like I thought I was worried that it was going to be like them ripping up books about space and stuff, because that's kind of what he does, and like flat smacking or whatever they call it. And I didn't want attention drawn, you know. Right. Everybody, it seems like everybody around here knows me. And of course there was somebody there that knew me. They're like, what are you doing over here? I was like, oh, I'm just hanging out. But yeah, they saw the banners. It's like Flat Earthers here, you know, so they knew. They were like, oh, okay, you're one of those people. I'm like, yep, I'm one of those people now.
I'm one of them.
I have.
This is funny. I was in Hawaii shooting a lot of footage.
Nice. It looked nice, very nice, Kenny.
And I sent you a couple pictures. Wait till you see what I got on video. You're gonna freak out. I got a.
I'm glad you had a holiday there. I was just imagining the whole of your holiday you'd be on Sun and Moon Hangout. So I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad that you spent that time.
I had to kind of. I went on Ponchos a few times, late night. You guys were all sleeping because Hawaii's like, I don't know, 12 hours difference from you, something like that. 10?
Yeah, you're like
10
6
hours?
hours from me. I know my brother goes there every summer, and his wife's from there, so they go there every summer, and he's 6 hours off. So me and him being twins, it's like for some reason I can't fall asleep until he does. So like I usually fall asleep at 6 in the morning. He goes to bed at 1 in the morning. Weird.
That I had never thought of twins having this difficulty. Dude, you're not asleep? What's wrong with you? I have to go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Yeah. My wife, I didn't understand it for like 2 years. Every time he'd go in the summer, it's like, what do you call that when you can't sleep? Insomnia would kick in every summer. Every time he was there, I couldn't fall asleep till 6:30 or 7. And I go, man, what time are you going to bed? He's like, about 1. I was like, that's the problem.
We're the night people now.
Yeah.
We're up all night
No.
doing our videos or whatever it is. If you ever heard the Martin Kenny hangout we had the other day, he said we should be awake at night and sleep in the day. Maybe that's why we're veering to the night now, because I'm awake most of the night, most nights.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lack of sleep being a flat earther, don't you?
You really do. Especially at the very start of it. I remember because I was still at work. I was finishing up the school year, and I remember I'd come into work just dragging oh my gosh, I've been up all night watching videos and doing experiments and taking pictures of the stars. I'd be out there taking pictures of the stars, looking at them. I watched them for 6 months straight, going, if we go to the other side of the sun and I see those stars, I'm gonna give the globe a chance. But I never did. They never followed the path they should have. It was totally different.
Just asking then, so what's it like going to school then as a science teacher in that globe system, knowing what you know then? Or do you just get on with the job? Do you try and tell the children anything?
It's hard. It's really hard. I know the way the enemy works, and they want to kind of catch me in doing something like that. I would love if education was at the point to where I could have a debate, because when I first came into it, I was like, we're going to have the funnest debate, because debates are pretty cool and kids end up liking them. I was like, this would be a really fun debate if we had a globe versus flat earth debate, and it would actually get my kids looking into it. And I thought this would just be fun, even, it's not like I am trying to unbrainwash them or anything, even though I would be. And I would, of course, take the view and show them I would have so much good footage that they couldn't compete. I would throw myself into one of those debates or help the kids on the other side. But once they dealt with me, I could tell that it was very serious. Because I'd mentioned it to a few of my athletes, because I'm a coach, and their minds are blown. And one of them instantly was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he started looking into it. And his parents are coming to us "What is this flat Earth stuff? My boy's a flat earther now." I'm like, "I'm sorry, we just told him a few things." Because kids, when they're young, their minds are so they're so awesome. They can figure stuff out, and it's and make those new connections. But I don't know. People of all ages right now seem to just be waking up like crazy. So, but it's one of those things. I used to have that poster hanging up on my wall. Everything gets passed down teacher to teacher. And I moved into a room of a teacher who had retired, and the poster on the wall was the Challenger mission crew. And I would look at that every day and just be sad. And then I remember one day I looked at this video somebody had shared. This was before I became a flat earther, of the Challenger mission. It was the parents watching, and they were laughing right after the crash. And I was going, why are they laughing? What are they why? This is their child that just died. And then once you see that they're still alive, you're kind of thankful. But it's man, it's hard to believe that so many people have been sad for so long. They just relocated those people, which I'm like,
I totally agree with you. For so long that they've got away with it.
So I still have the poster. I don't know what to do with it. I have it rolled up. I don't have any globes in my room or anything like that. But all the science teachers have at least one globe on their wall. And I did have one picture. This is what cracked me up. I had a picture of a globe, and the globe was inside of one of those lifesavers, you throw out to somebody when they're drowning, little round rings. And it was the globe's in trouble. And I thought, yep, it sure is. I almost wanted to leave that one up, because it's the globe is drowning.
Is in trouble.
I was like, oh, wow, that should be my new logo.
Are any of the other teachers in with you, or are you alone?
I'm alone in this school except for my brother. My brother, he's a math teacher. I teach science. He teaches math. We just talk to each other. We kind of whisper and share stuff. Somebody comes up, what are y'all talking about? Oh, just you. Nothing. You got to change the subject. It's just very, very frowned upon. And I think some of them kind of are figuring out what we're talking about when we talk about certain things. But it's just me and him right now, as far as I know. But people are so in the closet. There could be many others. I mean,
There's
I
a
have
lot in
students
the
all the
closet.
time. Yeah.
I got laughed at in Hawaii once.
Hmm.
I didn't do a lot of smacking over there, but
Yeah.
I was doing more like I'm just gonna get more evidence that we live on a flat plane, and I did
Yeah.
lots of video, man.
That's good. I can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah, I'll have to edit
It's,
it up.
yeah. It's such a deep subject. It's hard to really just go up to somebody and say anything. There's just so much to it. That's why it's hard to get people to look into it. And now with Google the way it is, you can't really do what we did and look up stuff and find it. It's
Right.
frustrating. I can type in anything, flat Earth sun, proofs of flat Earth, plane flights on a flat Earth, and it always brings up the same 300 or 400 videos that we have to scroll through. It's ridiculous.
It is. Haven't checked it in, I don't know, a few weeks, but yeah, you're not going to get the same kind of stuff we were running into 3 years ago. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I went to put in about the conference the other day, and all it showed me was NASA.
Wow.
Right. See?
I didn't put in NASA. I put in Flat Earth, conference, Denver, and all this NASA stuff came up.
Yeah, I don't understand why NASA has so many commercials and they're always promoting themselves and as if they're selling a product when in reality they're just government. They're funded by us. Why do they need commercials and shirts? Like every kid at my school has a NASA shirt now. Like you can tell they're putting NASA shirts on every shelf. Everyone's wearing them.
You did explain it though, Josh. It is a product. It's all a product to make money.
Yeah. They're becoming pop culture. They want to become part of our culture so bad. I mean, they're everywhere. And they just put out a video the other day, November 13th, I think it was. I woke up in the morning and on my feed, it was a NASA video. It's like artistic. It's like this, some artistic guy. I've looked up his other videos. They're really odd, but it's got all this symbolic stuff in the background. It has nothing to really do with anything. And you can see like they got the Tower of Babel and they have the Aztec, what's that thing called? The big pyramid looking thing. All sorts of like Illuminati symbology throughout it. And it's just weird music playing and audio. I'm like, what's the point of that? Like, how is there somebody, and he's probably getting paid by us to do that, to put together that little art project that's weird, all that symbolic stuff. And it's very strange.
Yeah. I'm sorry, carry on, Flat Earth, dude.
No, I look into the history of NASA and where it came from and the symbologies and all these weird stuff, Jack Parsons, all that. It's very, what do I call, they love their symbolism. Oh my.
Yeah. All their logos and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, NASA shirts. Get your NASA shirt at Walmart now or whatever. They're everywhere.
I want to go around with a Sharpie and put lies under every single logo.
Didn't see one NASA shirt in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii, not one. I didn't see one.
Yeah, they haven't made it that far yet.
It is really sad when, even if a lot of people aren't sure about Flat Earth, a lot more people don't believe we went to the moon, and there they are still promoting it. And no one's saying anything. And the thing is, I don't understand. Like, there's enough videos now that somebody surely from higher above should be looking and seeing, and they're not, and they don't care.
Yeah, they don't respond to that. I've noticed the people that are like the heaviest trolls that come out, they never really have a response to the deception. It's just like, but the other scientists, what about the others? And I'm like, but these are where we first saw Earth. That's where I really thought, wow, our dumb ancestors thought it was flat, and everybody else that was a scientist thought it was round. And then they finally proved it when they went to the moon. And sure enough, yep, our ancestors were dumb. And so it's just, we all believe that. And then when you find out they faked it, you're like, yeah, they faked it, but they still go to space. Like you still kind of make excuses like, well, they still go now. We won the space race, but there never really was a race. That's the weirdest thing. Right. It's like, it's so much as a lie that there never was a race. None of that stuff. They're all together. All the powers of darkness are very cohesive, working a lot harder than we've been until recently. I think people are starting to work a lot harder, but it's incredible how deep.
It is. I don't think when you watch the first video and you think we're flat, you think, oh, I've sorted it now. That's just the beginning, only the beginning of a long journey.
Yeah, and I still feel like we're just scraping the surface. I feel like a lot of us we how come we don't have a picture of this, or why don't you guys have this? It's like we're just beginning. We're going as far as we can go. We've already seen past miles of missing curve. There's that. It's like there's different there's only so far we could go right now, is in terms of what we can see. There's only so high we can go, so we're never going to have a picture of our entire Earth ever, you know. And so it's like people complain, but that's the limits we have. People that try to explore beyond certain boundaries, and there was a storm, and yet their boat is still fully intact. They're just gone.
Josh, do you mind if I just explain quickly something to Flat Earth Dude, because he's been away for a bit. Flat Earth Dude, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Flat Earth Dude, you're going to like what we're doing next Friday. We're going to have a friendly debate on Sun and Moon between Mr. Thrive, Robin Lifting the Lid channel as Flat Earthers.
Nice.
Versus
who?
Conspiracy Cats and Crow XE for the Globe model people. So we're having a friendly debate next Friday, so I'm sure that you'll want to join that hangout.
Most definitely. Day after Thanksgiving here in America.
And Conspiracy Cats is a physics teacher.
Oh, wow. And is Conspiracy Cats is a flat earther?
No. Conspiracy Cats and Crow XE, who you know about, they are globe earthers.
Okay, yeah. And Crow XE, he's tried to get me to do debates before. He's like, would you be interested in that? And I'm just not much for debating. I love debates, but I don't like the way they always end up going. I don't want to make somebody feel like I'm making fun of them. So it's like it's really challenging, because now debates just become make fun of somebody, laugh, have a weird, so I don't know. I'm not as comfortable. I like to show the facts, show the evidence, show the proofs.
I like to just do a hangout with a Globie. I mean, I've done 3 serious ones with the physicist now.
Yeah.
We just treat it more like a hangout where we're just talking back and forth, and we're throwing out ideas, and at the end of the day, you got to prove it to yourself where you live, man.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to try to get people to do, man, is just, go look at it for yourself. You'll figure it out, because, you got to prove it to yourself.
Yeah, and there's so many optical illusions with what we see and the way things look. It's really crazy. You think you see something flying through the sun, you're like, that flew through the sun, I'm pretty sure. Look at it, watch it again. It looks like it flew through the sun. But in reality, there's an illusion there, and you can look up. I think Wide Awake has some super cool videos where you can see, oh, that's probably what happened. He does really good videos zooming in on the sun. It looked like a boat went through the sun.
So yeah, Wide Awake, man.
Yeah.
I think I feel like Josh, really, and I don't particularly want 3,000 walls standing in front of me, and I'm trying. I prefer when people have woken up. But on Friday, this is a friendly chat, and in a sense, we've got to involve other people. Hopefully, other people. Hopefully they start realizing themselves. But anyway, we're having a friendly discussion, and also Flat Earth Dude, my nuclear physicist that I work for. I only realized that a few weeks ago what he was, and when I told him, he didn't say preposterous, but that's how he was talking to me. That kind of voice, preposterous, and thought, oh, I've lost my job. And then he came back to me and he said, I'm not saying it's a globe, but I am interested in hearing. So I tried to tell him. All he wanted to go on about was gravity. So I'm going, I don't believe in gravity. So he's like, you're not listening. I go, yeah, but I don't believe in it. Not the way you're saying. Nothing like that. Anyway, what it was is that Lifting the Lid Robin helped me by replying to him. And the thing is, he said to me the other day, I'm still not a flat earther, but this whole flat earth thing has intrigued me. Now, he's a retired person, and
I'm just laughing. I'm loving it. Go ahead, Karen.
He told me one thing. I mean, if you're into this nuclear bit, again, he's obviously thinking, because he knows that some things don't add up. But he told me that nuclear bombs were never as dangerous as they said they were, whatever they were putting in them. He just said that none of their community wanted to say, yeah, put them in bombs. But they lied about how dangerous nuclear, they lied about that. And he told me that. So he knows.
Yeah, radiation is just heat. The way it was explained to me, it's just heat.
But again, I think what it was is he was preposterous, and then he said, I've been talking to a few people and they did seem to know what you were talking about. And then he just suddenly, like, every time he talks to me, he goes, I'm not a flat earther, but I am intrigued.
Good enough.
That's good. If you get them intrigued, they'll keep looking.
Yep. If he's retired, he's got a lot of free time to check it out. Send him a few links, man. Send him.
Yeah, you got to send them links because having them Google stuff is no longer working.
Not working.
Yeah, do you know something though? This whole flat Earth thing, it was here 100 years ago. A lot of people still on this where we are believed in flat Earth. It was after the Second World War. It was about the 1960s they did it. But what they did was they petered it out wherever you could get, like you're saying, documents, stuff like that, because computers have taken off really in the last 20, 25, 30 years. They weren't in this bit, not everybody had one in their home, 70s, 80s. But oh gosh, then I've just lost my thread. That's really bad. I looked down and I looked at something and I lost my thread. What was I talking about? Sorry. Oh my goodness.
I always do that.
We do hangouts, man. We're just hanging out, and
what was I just saying?
These things we're not professionals here, man. We're all regular.
John, but I was going to explain something, but yeah, never mind. I've lost the thread now.
Okay. Don't think about it and it'll come back.
Exactly.
That's what happens to me.
No, it's growing, and we got a lot of people out there looking into this. Physicists to, Joe truck driver or whatever. We're all looking and trying to help other people see what's going on, man. That's what we're doing. And that was my whole goal here. I was really mad, and I said, I'm starting a channel, and I'm going to make videos, and I'm going to, we'll see where it ends up. And I ended up here with you guys, and it's just like been a great ride. And
how long has it been for you? Since
I guess it was like in 2015.
Oh wow!
Yeah, started
cool.
We just ran into a guy, man. I was doing an audio gig, and we were all done packing up, whatever. And it's like, hey, man, yeah, all those satellites are fake. I'm like, what? He's like, hey, man, you live on a flat Earth? I'm like, dude, man, the satellites are up there, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Google it, man, and try to find me a picture of a satellite in space. I'm like, all right. Problem, dude. I'll see you. I'll text it to you later, man. No.
Nope.
When I first saw it a bit like that, I just finished 9/11 and still didn't quite get the answers I wanted. And I spent years on that, and then it just popped up, and I looked at it, and suddenly it was flat Earth and concave Earth, and I thought, no, not something else to look into right now. So it was a few weeks later, so just January of 2016. So it had hit me or shown itself to me in 2015. So a few weeks later, first video, that was it.
Done. Here you are. I don't know how many shows you've done now, Karen, but it's in the hundreds of shows, right?
Yeah. I was explaining to Josh before we've evolved the group and what we're doing in that time. But yeah, it's been a journey.
Oh my goodness. Think of all the people you've met.
Yeah.
Hundreds of them. Hundreds.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have happened otherwise, So it's a God thing. We were meant to, for whatever reason, we were meant to figure it out and help other people figure it out.
And it's weird because I remember when I was first having like the spiritual awakening, right before the truth about creation and everything came to me, I just kept going like, what do I need to do? How do I reach people? Because I feel like the system we have with when you live, you die, it's like, oh, well, he was a member at this church or she was here. And I just feel like things are so divided and stationary with our spiritual walks, and things aren't moving like they should. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't just want to go to some church and be a preacher and have members, and a body is a moving body. It's not like this person's the mouth and we're the part of the body. It's just it's so much deeper than that. And when I started doing this channel, I just remember one day I was like, Father, you're showing me so much cool stuff. Just allow it to be seen and your glory to be given to you for all this stuff. And it just the next day I woke up and I had so many people subscribing back to back to back. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And it was like, before you realize it, it's like there's people in the UK going, what's up from the UK? What's up from here? And I'm just going like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, I really wanted to see this happen because there's so many hours of watch time that it would have taken me my lifetime to do as much speaking and teaching as what the amount of hours of watch time people have already had, coming onto YouTube. So it's so much more global that way.
Exactly.
I just hate to see it getting shut down with censorship and everything getting slowed down. That's why I feel like it's like time to do something extra, do something
Yeah,
else.
we got to step up a little bit harder and
Yeah.
do a little bit better job. And
Yeah.
we got our facts pretty straightened out right now. We know no Glober's going to stump any of us, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we got too much non-bendy water out there.
I missed you saying that, flat earth dude. That's the flat earth dude's little words. That is bendy water.
I stole that from Poncho, but I'll use bendy water. Show me the bendy water.
You also, Josh, do quite a few videos about NASA rocket space, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
I'll be right back.
That was one of my first things. I feel like just getting people to not trust them was huge. In compiling evidence, I'm real big about putting it all together so I could show people, because when I'm talking to people in the early days especially, they're like, oh, okay, so you saw some YouTube video, whatever. I'm like, no, look, you got to see all the proof that we have of the lies. And once you can see that, because when I first started, it was just all about evolution lies, and it's so full of lies. And a lot of the stuff I had seen growing up had already been proven to be a lie and admitted to be a lie by the people who supposedly found these bone fragments or whatever. And so it's like, how is that allowed to stay mainstream and in our text? And I give these tests and I see them on the test, and it's the same pictures I saw as a kid. And so my goal was just to compile as many lies as I could, the obvious ones, put them together. And so, of course, I went after NASA first. That's most of the footage we had at the time. But there's other space agencies they're all in on it, of course. So you find more as soon as you start looking, you'll find it. But that was my biggest clue right there, because I was a huge space fan.
Videos about NASA, it's a bit like occasionally it takes you a few hours to find a mistake.
Yeah.
Put a video on, you start watching it, you just slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is, like paused astronauts, one's moving, one's paused, touching material, just all those wires.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious me, that does not look high tech, does it? It looks like a stupid old store cupboard that's gone wrong.
Yeah. And like the Chinese moon landing, it was so bad that they just didn't even publicize it. Like, you don't hear anything about it. You never really, it was like, all those things. And it's laughable. And so it's
going on, Josh, because don't you, that now that they can do computer graphics. Someone sent it to me, and it was a bit like, say you had President Kennedy saying something.
Yeah.
Then they take his voice, and then they had Michael Jackson, they had all these other people, and they put Kennedy's voice over the top, and they were all looking like and saying this. It was Kennedy's voice. But then what it makes you realize is that they can take any footage or make any footage, and it's a bit like they could say that Trump's gone somewhere when he didn't. And they're even talking and saying all these words, which he isn't anybody. They can say that you were somewhere when you weren't.
Yeah, they can take my voice or your voice, just a few phrases that we say, and then put it in a program that could make us say whatever they want us to say. And so, I mean, it really kind of changes the legal system.
So why aren't those videos better then? Why aren't the NASA ones better?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. They're getting pretty good. I've been looking at some of their newer stuff, and they don't do as much live like they did. They were getting in a lot of trouble, I think, when they had their new tech updates where they could do those live, masking effects. Mike Helmick that you had on the show, he's one of the first people showing us how it was done. When I was coming into this, he was showing all those effects because he has special effects background. He understands all that, and once you see that's what they're doing. And I've used green screens a little bit. I started messing with that stuff a while back before I even became a truther. I started making videos as early, I think it was around 2008 or 9, when I started just messing around with videos. I never thought I had a passion for doing that at all until I tried. And then I would put together like highlight tapes and just random goofy videos, really just going, man, I kind of like doing this, but not really going to take me anywhere. It's just fun. But But yeah, it's cool when you see what they're doing. It's easier to spot. If you don't know what they're doing, it's going to look so real. Because I watched a lot of those videos before I was a flat earther and thought, wow, they're playing with water in space. How cool is that? I always wanted to do that. I thought it'd be nice to just like sleep in space, just floating, no pressure on you. You know, tossing and turning. You just sleep. Like, how cool would that be? It's so real in our minds, and it's all we see on TV. I mean, every time we watch a movie, they start out from space and zoom in on the Earth. It just seems so
You know
real.
that bit about water? I don't think people realise. I didn't for a long time myself, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
if we had water with gravity, the water would act like it does in what they're showing us in that stupid ISS space station. We'd be living in something where the water would be doing that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I was thinking about the flood. You remember, like when they talk about the Earth being flooded? Imagine a sphere perfectly covered with water, and where's the water coming from? It's coming from the windows, the floodgates of heaven. When the floodgates opened up from the firmament, I mean, water just pouring down like crazy. The waters above that it spoke of in Genesis were coming down. Where's up? Like where's it coming from on this ball? Now you just picture water getting poured onto a ball, and then all of a sudden the whole ball is covered with water. Like me trying to actually picture that now is like, that's hilarious. Like then you have this giant sphere covered with water, and then the water goes back down inside the earth, and the fountains of the deep, that were open, that the water starts draining in there. Like it's hard to imagine from a heliocentric imagery now that I actually try to picture it. I never really tried to picture it before. I just pictured water going up over the mountains, but it's interesting when you start realizing, oh, okay, because the word, the window of heaven was different in its original translation than the window on the ark. Like the window on the ark was, its original translation was like a hole in the wall, but then the windows of heaven, it was like a chimney or a sluice, like a actual place for water to pour out of. That was one of the first things I looked at. I started looking at original words when I was looking at the Bible and its original language and all of that, because of course they've removed words and all of that in books, but they translations, we can trust the Bible, but it's just the translations and the books they've removed make it a lot harder to see the full picture. But it's really interesting when you realize that's not a fairy tale. That's true, because I always read Genesis thinking that's kind of the figurative part of the Bible. It's not really true. Water's above. That's probably rain. Who knows? But
Just in case you can hear a bit of a noise from me, I've got a little dog who's asleep under my desk and she's snoring. Just
yeah,
in case you hear her.
yeah. I was gonna film outside. I was gonna go outside and do this out because it's pretty over here right now. It's daylight still. It's probably dark where you're at, but
Yeah.
we have a stray cat that comes up to our house, and when it knows you're out there, it is something's wrong with its voice box, and it tries to meow. It sounds like it's so scary. It scares people away, and everybody thought it had like rabies, but I reached out and pet it one day, and it's so super sweet, but it's like, I was like, that would be so creepy in the background if I went outside. Like, what is going on over there? Are you getting attacked? Like, nope, stray cat.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing masses in your life. If you're a teacher and you've got children and small children and you're doing all your videos, thank you very much, Josh, for what you do.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you
Because
found
I
it.
know how much time it takes to make videos.
Oh
I know
yeah,
how much time it takes anyway.
that's why people catch I have like typos and stuff, and but I'm like, I just don't care. I don't have time to re-upload, download. So I feel bad sometimes. I'll put a video out after I catch the mistakes, and my wife's like, just take it down and redo it. I'm like, I don't.
Because I do that occasionally myself.
Yeah.
Something will go, Karen. But the thing is, though, when I look at it, it does say it, and then you put it out. The moment you put it out, oh look, there's a mistake.
Yep. Like, you idiot, flat tarts can't
All
spell.
these people those Nazis that want to correct you all the time. Like oh, you missed an apostrophe. Like, dude, really?
iMovie doesn't have spell check. I'm allowed to catch it.
Right.
Something else that you were talking about before we came on. I'll just mention a couple of words because obviously you will explain it. The curved line, the GoPro.
Yes, yeah. You were talking about Crow XE, and one of his videos he sent me was about this was a while back, was about a fisheye lens, and I was always curious because we see all that space footage where the fisheye lens will bend. It'll make the Earth's curve go perfectly flat, and then it'll even go perfectly concave, like a perfect concave line, and then it changes its direction. It'll bend one way, then it'll bend the other, and I believe it was SpaceX released one of their spacecrafts falling back to Earth, had millions of views probably, and I'm looking at that footage and I go, wait a minute. It's bending perfectly in the opposite direction. I've messed around a little bit with like GoPros and stuff, and I thought if a perfectly flat line or would bend perfectly in both directions. I could imagine that happening, but if it's already curved, could you curve it the opposite direction that perfectly? And you should be able to do simple experiments to prove that if you can. And so I took some curved lines and my fisheye lens, and I would manipulate it just as if it was hanging from a high altitude balloon where we've seen the curve of Earth through that fisheye lens, and then it'll change as it rocks, you know. And so I duplicated that as best I could, that motion, just moving it up and down. And I could always make it almost curve in the opposite direction, but on the outer edges, it would still be going the same way. The curve, it was kind of like an M, like it would curve in the middle the opposite direction. But on the outer edges, it never matched the space footage. And I was like, holy crap, that's the simplest proof right there. You don't even have to leave your house to duplicate those experiments with a horizon line. I had a curved horizon, flat horizon, any type of curved object you can try that with over and over. And when you look at the outer edges of the curved line, it never curves perfectly in the opposite direction. It always slopes back down the way it originally was. And so I put out a video about that. It didn't get that many views, but I thought that was the simplest proof. Like, you should compare it with space footage if you think that's real space footage, which some of that stuff is really high altitude footage of Earth, but the fisheye lens will give you curve and then flatness and then concave. So I thought that was pretty cool. If you just look at it over and over and compare it, that's the simplest experiment right there. Because we have the high altitude footage.
They've indoctrinated us, haven't they, with a ball and a curve and everything's curving. And
Yeah.
You've got those people with those GoPros, especially that guy, you know, jumped out whatever off the beer one, whatever it was. And then it's a bit like, go, no, look, there's the curve. And I'm saying, well, is it that small, the Earth? Because there's no oceans, there's no nothing there. There's a bit of land.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he didn't drift anywhere. He landed only a few miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that blew my mind when I started looking back into before NASA formed. You had Kittinger, and I'd never heard about him ever, and he was one of the first people to technically go to what we call space and go really high on this balloon, and he just jumped out just like that footage. He was actually coaching that guy, Joseph Kittinger, and he was in the Air Force. And this was probably, I think it was right around the time NASA was forming, or right before the torch kind of got passed on to NASA and they created an actual space agency. Because the Air Force was the first one to show us the stars from space. I don't know, have y'all seen that footage yet? The British Pipe had that footage. It was stars from space in like I don't know what year it was, 60 maybe. But I posted that video, and the stars were so fake, they looked like somebody had a light bright. And there was actually, you can see like a bright light through the moon. The moon looked like it had a face. It looked like the cat in Alice in Wonderland. It was really weird looking. But it was obviously fake footage, and they passed it off as real back then, but that was before people could replay it. So they just thought, wow, we're seeing the stars from space for the first time. But Kittinger, when he went from that high, he did the same thing as him. He landed just a couple miles away, and they were all doing that. I'm like, why are they all landing so close if they're going to space and the Earth is spinning that fast? They're way above the atmosphere, and the big argument is, well, everything moves with the atmosphere. Well, not anymore.
In reality, if there's this I can't say the word, you know which word I'm going to say, Coriolis effect, and really, when he left that thing, he should have probably landed in another continent.
Yeah, but yeah, you're talking about Coriolis effect. When I was saying I used to teach that to sixth graders back my very first year teaching, I had a globe and a marker, a dry erase marker, and we'd teach it. Well, I was thinking about that, the weather, and everybody talking about hurricanes going this direction and whatnot. Well, if the Earth is moving 490,000 miles per hour, and we're only spinning about 1,000, all of our weather would match the fastest movement of Earth, not just that slow spin. The spin is so slow. It's like per minute, 16.5 miles. And in that same minute, it goes 1,000 or 1,100 miles around the sun, but it's going 8,000 miles through space. So like our weather would match whatever the fastest motion is. If the spin's going to affect it, so would the other motions.
Yeah,
but they never do.
They don't work it out. Most people, I didn't think of that, because that's how they've also, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. We always picture it stationary when we picture asteroids coming toward Earth or them going from the moon back to the Earth. It took them 2 days to get back to the Earth. Do you know how far the Earth traveled in 2 days through space? And it wasn't in a straight line either. It was in a big arched path. I mean, millions of miles through space. How did that? Planes can't. Not that there's thrust in a vacuum, but they're in a vacuum trying to keep up with the Earth moving in an arched path, millions of miles. I never thought of it that way, and it was like, holy crap! How did it catch up to Earth? We don't have combustion of liquid hydrogen. They tell us is around 10,000 miles per hour. I don't believe that, but that's what they tell us. And that's what they use as fuel. They don't change fuels or anything fancy. They use the same fuel. How do they get to 17,500 miles per hour? Where's that extra 7,500 miles per hour coming from?
It's 5 miles a minute in the ISS
Yeah.
station. 5 miles a minute.
Yeah. How did they get that thrust? What thrust took them to that speed is my question. I'm like, no one's been able to answer that. Like, you can't go faster if you're going by Newton's law that they always quote. Action for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction or whatever. Like, you can't. You have to have rocket fuel shooting out with a combustion speed that matches the speed you're going. If you don't, you can't get that fast. They're like, oh, we set the burn for longer. Well, okay, it's still going the same speed. I don't get it. You can burn it as long as you want.
They're going round, what is it, 17 times a day or something? It's like these people wouldn't know if they were coming or going.
Yeah. They see so many sunsets and sunrises, bullcrap.
Oh, those wires, and those wires do it for me. Just they're not just on the inside, they're on the outside, but the amount of wires. And then suddenly they'll be sort of floating around and they go past these boxes which are just left there. They would never have anything like that. They'd never have floating hair. If anything goes wrong, it would take so long to put their suits on, they're dead anyway. Oh, it's just the whole ridiculous.
Yeah, you never I don't know, it's crazy to think that when they were practicing the Apollo stuff, you would have footage of them practicing with the lunar module, landing it in a vacuum chamber, looking how does thrust work in a vacuum chamber. You see them practice like in an open field. Why didn't they ever practice in a vacuum? Why don't you ever see them jumping around in their spacesuits in a vacuum?
Because there's one video out about that where the guy actually says to that man in the suit, "We'll see how long you can handle it."
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because you look at vacuum experiments. That's one thing I started looking into, and there's a channel. Oh God, what's it called? He's got tons of subscribers, and he does vacuum experiments, and he puts this thing called VacMan. It's a toy where you suck all the air out of them. Well, he puts that guy in a vacuum, and he blows up like a balloon. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, these astronauts already had air inside, residual air from them breathing, because they don't have a regulator. When I go scuba diving, my air bubbles actually go out and float away. Well, their air that they're breathing is already inside their suit, and so they're at a disadvantage compared to this VacMan who expanded and almost popped, in a vacuum. And they're breathing that air. It's in their suit. There's lots of air pockets in there so they can move. Their clothes aren't skin tight. How come they don't swell up like that and pop? They seem perfectly fine. Their clothes still seem baggy. I thought that was very...
Maybe you can answer this one as well. I just feel, right, because obviously when you start getting into this, there's so many different subjects to look at. And of course, I did a bit about vacuums. And it seemed that when they were doing their vacuum stuff now, they're not moving. I mean, they're not bouncing up and down or anything. No. Someone said, well, that's because they're in Earth, in atmosphere sort of thing. And I'm thinking, if it's a vacuum, there's nothing in it, whatever it is inside the vacuum. It doesn't matter whether they were actually doing it on, say, they could get to the moon, or they're doing it on Earth. Inside that thing, they're walking around in the vacuum. So it's obvious you don't float on the moon.
Yeah. It's like they're on the face of the moon. I feel like if you could touch it, you would just fall off. And it's weird that they were on the side of the moon facing Earth, and the moon was near the horizon. It's like, how was that possible? The moon should be straight over top of their heads.
It's all crazy. A lot of people don't see that. They think, oh, well, they're walking around in there because they're in Earth's atmosphere. But if you're in a vacuum's a vacuum wherever you are. It'll be the same. You can't just be floating because you're on the moon and not floating here. It'd be the same. If that's what it was like on the moon, which we know it isn't, they'd be doing the same because they're in a vacuum. A vacuum's a vacuum. With nothing in it is a vacuum.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you understand that one, because a lot of people don't. They think, well, it's different here. I'm thinking, what difference does it make where you are in a vacuum?
Yeah, I just would there's a lot of things I would like to see. Like, I would like to see someone on Earth go into that vacuum chamber from the regular atmosphere with the same Apollo suits that they had, with the same technology. I know they destroyed a lot of the technology and hit it or whatever they did to it, but with that same technology, and just go into a room that eventually equalizes the pressure slowly so that you can actually open the door and step into a vacuum environment. Like, I want to see that happen, and then walk around and move. And it just seems so dangerous, because you see what happens if you were to on that one channel. I wish I could share the videos. I've wanted to add this to my next video that I do with the. I'm trying to put together a flat Earth proof video because my other one's kind of out of date. There's so many new things that have come along, but some of those vacuum experiments are amazing with combustion and stuff. And he would put a clay figure on top of the vacuum, and then he would puncture a hole in it, and that clay figure would just shoot in there like a bullet. I mean, it's dangerous. A small leak on the ISS would be very dangerous if you're in a perfect vacuum.
Yeah, and they go outside because there's ammonia leaks, and you just think, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's always drama. It's pretty smart though that they make it look like, oh, we're having problems. No one's died yet, but now we're having. It's really genius, a lot of the stuff they do. That's the one thing I realized when I came into this was how deceptive.
Oh gosh, I don't want to go in it ever. I don't never want to go in it. It's those. Well, it's just you couldn't anyway because it's not real. But I wouldn't want to go in that.
Yeah, no. But my mind was blown about how well we've all been tricked. I just remember almost wanting to give an applause, like, yeah, you've tricked us all. Like that's quite impressive because we're kind of prideful in how much we know and how much we've learned. And, oh, I've went to school and I have a master's degree or I figured out education. But it's like we're just repeating stuff. We've got really good at repeating stuff. I figured school out. I was kind of a late bloomer in school. And I didn't start having really good grades until college. And I didn't get straight A's until my master's program. That was the first time ever. It was like I was never like that. But I didn't get smarter. I just figured out the system. I figured out, oh, they just want me to do it this way. They want me to repeat all this information. And I didn't really learn. I've learned more just from teaching than I ever did in school, and I've learned more about the globe from being a flat earther than I ever knew before I was a flat earther.
You learn more yourself.
Yeah.
Just by yourself. Yeah. I would never have if someone like thinking of school, I didn't really like school, but then they put this in the 60s, they piloted a different phonics here in the UK. It was called ITA. So what they were trying to do was get rid of joined up writing. So you could say a T, you could use as an I. You could make it as an I. And they taught loads of children my age that, and then just stuck straight in the next school. And none of us could read. It's like being taught French and then going to an English class. Wow. So they artificially made thousands of children dyslexic.
Wow, that's crazy.
But again, I look at school and I think I had to do that and I had to learn it. Doing that was enough to turn me right off anyway. But the things I've learned now or understood, I'm amazed that, and all of us are just information eaters.
Yeah. And it's so weird how the wisdom, once you start having wisdom that's not of this world, you seem so foolish. But you're just like, if they only knew. I just remember, like, the wisdom of this world is foolishness to God. I had no clue how deep that was, but it's true. Everything that's wisdom, this whole world, you're basically not a part of this world anymore. You're not one of the cool people.
But it's a bit strange that this whole swathe of people woke up. And I'm not saying every day people don't wake up, but 2015 and 2016 were the biggest kind of wake up, I think, the biggest amount of people. And it's just amazing that even 2-3 years on, not everybody's woken up at all yet.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of damage control to slow it down, putting out a lot of stuff, a lot of anything they can space related, like a Chinese spacecraft's coming to Earth, it's coming to crash down, like anything they can do.
Pumping it out, aren't they? Pump. Ugh.
Yeah, every time I look on the news, it's something new about an asteroid or something. But there's never any proof. I've never seen an actual picture of the asteroid they're speaking of. They don't put those out. It's always, they already have animations on backup and ready to go. Even when they do launches, it's like they've already had a computer animator go, hey, I'm going to animate this launch. And
they plant
we're going to use it.
That's what they're doing. They're constantly planting the seeds that we're forever going out into space. We're going to get planets.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just, they've planted the seed.
Yeah, the funny one's the BFR SpaceX rocket announcement. If y'all have seen that, oh my gosh, it was so awkward about going to the moon. Have you seen we're going to send people back to the moon? No mention of how they found the technology. I mean, they're in cooperation with NASA. People act like they're private, but they're 100% partnership with NASA. Everything they do is with NASA, and it's like, we're going to send regular people to the moon, and then it's this billionaire from Japan or China. I can't remember if it's Japan or China. I think it's Japan. And he was like, I'm going to go to the moon. He's so excited. And then it's like, with artists. And so it's like, what? With who? He's like, yeah, I'm bringing artists to the moon. And I'm thinking, like, painters? What? But, like, influential artists, he said. So basically, like, your Illuminati puppets. I'm like, these aren't even astronauts or trained people. You're going to send these artists, like musicians or whatever, and you, a millionaire or billionaire, to the moon. It's going to be so fake. I mean, it's going to be strange watching it if it does happen. But they've always pumped that up, the future of space travel being private, but it's really not.
Maybe what has to happen is maybe there has to be a rally outside NASA.
Yeah. I know they would turn it. The news is so fake, though. It's almost like no matter what we would do over there, if we were to kind of like storm them and riot and protest or something, they'd make it look like they would pay actors. They would know what's going to happen and pay actors to go and break windows or something to make us look like crazy people. It's really, they're always trying to be a step ahead of us, it seems.
Well, it was quite good that the conference in Denver did make it to the news, and they weren't horrible. They just said some believe that this is what it's like, but it was making the national news now. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, that's really good because I'm always curious as how they're going to put a spin on that on the news.
But again, you know, once you watch that hurricane, I mean, I bet you know about this, don't they? They were putting it up constantly. How there was two of them, I think, where the reporter was pretending he was like waist deep in water, and someone walked behind him, and then the other one was the wind, and then somebody walked behind, and then there was another one that was nothing to do with flat Earth. I just came across it, and what it was is they're supposed to be doing a satellite link up with these two ladies off this channel. The only thing is that this truck went past that one, and then he went past the other.
Yeah, so it's like the same bus.
We're in the same car park. Got any respect? They said they were a satellite link.
Yeah. Hold on, we've got her. She's. There's a delay because we're going through satellite. The same bus goes by.
It's a bit bad, isn't it? Though, if the news companies can't tell you the truth at all and are lying, and we're doing a satellite link up, knowing they're sitting in the same car park.
Yeah, it is odd. I mean, and it's odd that people just keep watching them, and it's like, well, that's CNN. What about Fox? I've got Fox here. They're real, and you would think that. I mean, it's like but they get people against each other. And social media, it's very masterfully done to where you kind of see the stuff that you believe in a lot on your social media. Like if you're for Fox News, you'll start. They've got it set up just mathematically, just these algorithms they use to send you that stuff. So you feel like, oh, most people agree with me. I'm cool, and so that even though you might be following somebody who's misleading, you feel like you're the right one, and they kind of set it up that way. So you're like, oh, most people believe what I do. I mean, they even hire soldiers to get on social media and create false accounts to put out information. They do all sorts of stuff to kind of alter social media. I mean, now it's censorship, but there's a lot more going on behind the scenes that we don't see, and we couldn't imagine. I mean, if it's not true and it's harmless, don't censor it. I mean, flat Earth, are we going out killing people because we believe the Earth is stationary? Has anyone died from believing in stationary Earth? No. I don't know why they're silencing it as if it's like terrorism.
No, but they try and make you, well, you're insane. You need to go to an asylum.
Yeah. Oh, man. And the amount of hate people I get every day. You and your children should die. Like, you should not reproduce. Like, and you need to just die. Go kill yourself. Jump off a cliff. Like, every day. I'm like, really? Like, I remember when I was not even a flat earther, and flat earth dude, is it Kenny, was saying how, what was he saying about that? But it's like somebody, they don't even know you. And where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. I did what you did. But it's interesting because before I became a flat earther, and it was, that's what it was, about the satellites, where his friend was talking about satellites being fake. The very first time I'd even heard that was in the comments of a YouTube video. Somebody said nothing but, because I think I might have been watching like footage from space or something. It was like nothing but fake satellites over a flat earth. They said something about a flat earth and satellites being fake. And I remember just going like, how stupid is this person to think earth is flat? But I wasn't angry. It didn't make me want to like come after them and give death threats. It's hard for me to understand where these people are coming from that become so angry. But I think we're attacking their way of life, they feel, I guess, when we start showing stuff that proves the earth is not what we've been told. And so it's like their way of life. I don't know if they're just really sentimental and like, hey, you're attacking
I think it's something to do with, you obviously were there. There's obviously, we're empathic, and sensitive. And when you wake up a bit more, then your vibrations change, and then you turn around, and it might not be that those people are saying much different than you've heard before, but it just sounds and feels more worse because you're more aware.
Yeah.
It's something like that, I think, because like, I don't know, but they do say some nasty things. Sometimes, occasionally, they come in on our chat room and they just start being horrible, and the vibe, I can't like delete them quick enough because I'm not arguing with that.
Yeah, I know it's hard. You have to know though, because when I first started, there was so many. You get a lot of it's almost like YouTube pays people to come to you and be negative, but it was like it would let it bother me and it bogged me down because I would look at every comment and try to. I was there to send answers to people that had questions, but it ends up just being like you're getting attacked all the time, and I was like, man, help me, because this is tough dealing with all this hate, and it was like after he just sent me the spirit of love towards these people, and it was like a discernment to know who's the troll versus who's somebody who you can help. And I've had people where I've replied real kindly and sent them stuff, and then like weeks later they'll be like, dude, I'm so sorry for all that, I God's been dealing with me or this and that, and I'm just like, wow, I'm so glad that I was shown how to deal with these people, because otherwise I would have just said something smart.
I don't mention the channel, but a really good friend of mine had a really good video out, and it stirred thousands and thousands of people to watch it. But she couldn't go to her mail for a while because of the nasty comments.
Wow.
About killing her and all that kind of stuff.
I don't understand that, because I just remember thinking it was a bunch of pot smokers or new agers or something. Like when I thought about flat Earth, I just pictured people really high going, dude, it's flat. Like I had no clue. And then once you find it out, you're like, this is a bunch of smart people that have figured something out. Like, how did they figure it out before me? Like, this is really crazy. Like, you guys have been, I think, probably longer than me. It was kind of new to me. I was kind of late on that. It's just been over like a year and a half or so. I don't even know how long it's been. It seems like forever, but it's really not been that long at all. Is Kenny still here?
Yeah. I don't know. It's much earlier for him, isn't it? Yeah. Kenny. He'll be back in a minute. Okay. But, maybe I did the same a bit myself. Maybe I was a bit like, oh, don't be so stupid. Maybe I came across like that. But when you wake up, you realise all the egos. Well, I knew it anyway. But I mean, I might have been a bit more, oh, what do you mean? I could have been. But waking up, and then when you turn around, everybody else is like that. And it is, I don't like going out the same anymore.
Yeah. It's weird. You start seeing so many other lies. This is kind of like the gateway truth, where you start seeing much more deception. And it's easy to get caught up in it, all of the lies and the evil stuff. And you really have a better discernment, and a kind of like I guess like a bullcrap radar, where you can kind of see when somebody's lying or telling the truth. But I don't know. They're really good. They're really good at lying. And I think focusing more now on truth. And I'm trying to not get obsessed, because the deception is one thing it's easy to get overwhelmed with and kind of obsessed with, because there's just so much of it. But there's so much more truth out there, and we really want people to experience the freedom from the things of this world and what really matters, because that's what this movement is sending a lot of people to, is the fact that there's a greater purpose. We're not just here to live, get stuff, material stuff, have all these earthly pleasures that are temporary, and then die. Like, that's not what it's about. There's something greater. We're really not who we've been told. We don't live where we're told we've been that we live. And that's one thing people go, what does it change? What does it matter? And why are you speaking about this? You could be speaking about Jesus and God. And I'm like, people will never get to know them if they don't, probably if you can't shatter the scientism and the stuff, this religion that they've had, that many have. And I've just had so many people, so many beautiful testimonies, like, oh my gosh, this is starting to make sense. I see this. And one of the best ones, I mean, it made me I was at work and I read the message, I started almost crying, because a lady was like, I've been addicted to heroin, me and my boyfriend, and I've been watching your videos, and now it's like we're starting to see truth, and I feel like we're going to be set free from this. And it's just like, holy crap, the fact that the truth really can set people free. The flat earth is not the ultimate truth, but it can lead. It's led so many people to that.
I think you understand that, don't you, Josh? Flat Earth is about everything. It's not just about the piece of land we're on. It's about everything. Mm-hmm. That's what it is for me. It's about all the lies, deceptions, 9/11, everything.
Yeah, because, I mean, you go outside. I mean, like when I was going outside, and I need to do this more, we all do, but just spending time with the Father and sending that. And it's like, I look out and I'm up on a hill and I got a pretty good view and I can see a lot of things. And I'm just like, how many people are really spending time with our Creator and with the Father? It's like, how lonely would it be if you were Him? Because you could look out at your town and it's like probably nobody. They're all either on Facebook, TV, video games, whatever it is their distraction is. And it's like, it's got to be there's people are starting to wake up and spend time with them, but it's like it just can't be fast enough. We all need to do that more, because that's when the wake up process was happening for me, is when I was actually going out and seeking. And when you ask for stuff, you get it. There's so much more we can see that goes beyond the surface we're at now. If we just ask, because He wants to give us wisdom. He wants us to have His wisdom and not the wisdom of this world. And got to be humble and keep seeking, and He'll keep giving.
Yeah, I used to go out shopping. Now I don't. I go, look at the clouds, look at the chemtrails. Where's the sun? Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
Can I ask you then? Well, there's something I'd like to say. I don't know if this will happen. I don't want to promise it, but I could ask Micheal to come on a hangout with you on Sun and Moon.
Awesome.
Would you like that?
Yeah, he's one of my heroes. I remember he was, I don't know, I just something about him when I saw his first video. I was like, dude, he's so cool. And I put his little audio, and he was talking about when he said there's a time coming when we won't be able to tell the difference, but what's real and
he's
fake.
got quite a lot of information, Mike. He sent me this photograph of the moon that was taken, up from a high altitude balloon, and the moon's a torch. It's a torch.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he's so cool. It's just so cool to see open-minded people like that. He's really awesome.
Unless all that picture was actually showing how small the moon really is, and that the dark side, the back side of it doesn't light up, so only one side of it was lit. So the light coming out, it looked like a torch. Like a torch would do.
Wow. Yeah, I know. When I was out there messing around with night camp pictures and taking pictures of the moon at night when it was a full moon, and I was just amazed that I could see stars in the background of my pictures, as opposed to like when they were on the moon, they couldn't see any. But also that when you adjust the brightness, it would look like daylight. And I would show people the picture and go, what time of day do you think I took this? They'd be like, noon. And I'm like, no, I just increased the brightness. That's nighttime. That's the moon at night. And they're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. I mean, I feel like with the book of Enoch was talking about sevenfold brighter. That's how much brighter the sun is. You could take a full moon picture, adjust the brightness like that, and it matches perfectly. I'm like, that's very interesting. How would they know that? How would they know that math?
The veil side of Enoch, seeing through the veil, going through. It's just in a way, it's very apt. And I have a moon that appears like that. Sometimes, not always, it comes in different places. But sometimes the moon basically appears outside my house, like coming through a veil, like coming through a curtain. This thing just is only a bit of it there, and then it just sort of, what do you call it, renders outside my house.
Yeah.
And then one day I went to the garage with my daughter. There was no clouds in the sky, and 5 minutes later we came back and there was a moon past my house. Dang. So there are gates of some kind.
Yeah, I've noticed that with the sun, because we do solar experiments with the sun in my class, and in the summertime, I mean, that sun is directly overhead and it's beaming down on your shoulders. You're getting sunburned. It's hot. The temperature changes so much from 8 in the morning to noon. But we're trying to start fires with using solar power and heat things up. And I remember it was like towards the end of winter, and the sun was just so far south, it was hard to do anything with it. Like its path changes so much that it just it's like, wow, it's incredible how much
I'm not an expert
changes.
like you with a camera, but when I was monitoring it, I couldn't believe. And the moon does it as well. Sometimes they take a long time to come in, then they go off fast. Sometimes it comes in faster and then goes off quicker. Sometimes it comes in slower and goes off slower. It does all these different things, coming in at a different place every day, but doing slightly different things.
Yeah, the moon is more mysterious to me
than
the sun.
That yourself?
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like it's a bit like it hangs over your head for a few hours, and you think, well, it's still there. 4 or 5 hours later, it's hardly moved, and then other days you think, wow, look how much it's moved in an hour.
Yeah, it does seem to have that. I don't know if it's the circular path, how it changes or what, but it does seem where like I'll go to bed looking at it. Before I go to bed, I'll see the moon, and then I wake up in the morning and it's not very far, and then sometimes I'll see it over the horizon. go to bed, wake up, and it's gone. And it's
Hey,
like,
George, have you ever seen this? Right, I can't prove it, and even if I took a camera of it, it wouldn't have worked. I actually needed a 360 camera to show everybody. But this person told me that on when the moon hits the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer here, he said go and watch, and I did. And Dave Marsh's work as well. He's noticing that whenever he makes like a graph, it's like a heartbeat pattern. I saw the moon come in, like from obviously the east. It was going south, north, and south at the same time, and it stopped. It picked the stars up. It almost went like back up north for a bit, stopped, dropped them off, and then went west much quicker. And to me, it did a heart wave sign in the sky, really. But I can't prove it, but I saw it twice.
wow.
The moon is moving the stars.
Yeah. Because people have all this footage like that of this like star. They'll see a star and they're like, we're seeing through the moon. There's a star. The moon's transparent. But my thought is the moon, the sun, the stars are all within the firmament, and the stars are not nearly as bright. But what if occasionally their paths set it up to where the I guess when the part of the moon
they're in front of the moon,
they just kind of pass in front of it a little bit, like they're passing.
I agree with you.
That's all.
So it is because in your mind you're thinking, because of what we've been told, oh, well, that means that the moon's got to be behind all the stars. I don't think it is. I think sometimes the stars go right in front of it. It just looks like they're through it.
Yeah, it does. So I just can't wait until we see all this stuff ourselves. But I don't know what's going to happen with the stars before the return, because they talk about the stars falling from the sky and all of that. And I remember I had a dream, I think it was a few weeks ago or a couple months ago, that the stars were literally just falling out of the sky like crazy. And I remember it was nighttime and I'm looking up going, oh my gosh. And I started thinking, is this real or is this something they're doing? Like, are they faking this or is this real? But I was like, this looks so real. The stars are literally falling. And I remember going, you have this brain fart, it's like you've read about it in the Bible, but I was like, what happens next? And it was like my brain just went blank. I was like, oh my gosh. And my wife's always telling me I need to read more because I get so focused on making videos and all of that. She's like, you need to read more, you need to study. And I remember thinking, yep, I need to study and then it was like, once you wake up, it's like, oh yeah, now I remember what happens, but I just feel like
I know that the Big Dipper ends up being different in everybody's sky. Like in America, for a lot of people, it's quite stretched out in the sky.
Yeah.
But for me, it goes around my house. And I don't think those cameras, I think they're lying with the star trails because they never show the Big Dipper doing all the things it does. It goes down, it goes up, it goes right up in the sky, it twists around. And anybody on a time lapse, it means there can't be a complete circle because you see the Big Dipper, it acts out of kilter. I'm not saying other stars don't, but I'm just saying I know that one does. They never pick up the Big Dipper doing different shapes and things. It's always a complete circle. But I suppose they've got to make it look like we're spinning.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
People will think, oh, look, we're spinning. The stars are spinning. Look, round and round. No one ever shows what the Big Dipper does.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some cool pictures of that since I created a different Facebook altogether. I don't use my other account anymore. It's kind of become like MySpace, but I've somehow become friends with a lot of truthers on there, and they share some cool stuff about the stars. I want to do videos about it because they said somebody, they took a picture of the moon from the same place at the same time with the camera facing the same way throughout a year. And it's so cool. It makes like a figure 8 in the sky. And they did the same thing with the sun. It makes like a figure 8. I'm like, that's impressive. That's some impressive footage. If somebody really, it looks real, like they really did that. And they just overlapped the pictures. You can see the sun. I was like, that's impressive if they've done that. Because I was always curious. I was trying to find videos if somebody had, like, here's the pictures of the stars 6 months apart facing the same way, or just like simple stuff like that. You try to find it, you can't find it anywhere on the internet. It's like, why not?
Talking like that, Josh, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a video of Stan Smith's work that he's done with 360 and virtual goggles, and what he's captured, when he's put the information in, what the goggles do. I'm going to send you that video because you're going to go, wow.
Yeah, oh, cool. That'd be cool.
I'm back. Sorry.
We can stop talking about him now.
And I'm on my phone. Not my computer going and my phone. No, I need to move around because I'm trying to my wife had to go and I had to help her. So lots. lot going on. I just got back from vacation, so you know how it is.
Oh, I know.
You
Yeah,
just,
it's crazy.
it's like you got to put things away and fix stuff.
Yeah, now you need another holiday.
Right. But I feel like I live in paradise because I'm still wearing shorts and a t-shirt and no shoes.
Where do you live at? Are you in California?
California, yeah.
Okay.
Where are you?
I'm in Georgia, Northwest Georgia, like other side of the world. I went to California this summer though. It was 120 degrees there where
Yeah,
we
it's
were.
hot. That's why you go to the ocean. You gotta
Yeah,
go to the ocean. It's not that hot there. No
yeah,
way.
we were our sister. Otherwise, I think we would have. It was so hot.
Yeah. California is all about the Pacific Ocean, man. Ugh.
Yeah.
People want to live there, man. Hang out there. It's nice and cool. Nice view. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the water's colder there. I noticed that when I set foot in it. It's colder than it is on the East
In
Coast.
the summer, it can warm up pretty good, depending. Certain beaches warm up pretty good. You can get in. Not like Hawaii, man. Hawaii's like just go in, you're in. There's no cold, nothing.
Yeah, it's the same all year round. It's like perfect all year round.
Perfect. It's so perfect. It's
Definitely
crazy.
air conditioning. I was mind blown. We stayed there for my brother's wedding, and we had like a nice resort. And I'm like, oh, this is fancy, and there's no air conditioning. I was
Not a single air conditioner anywhere on the whole island, man. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think they allow them. I don't know.
It's so expensive and all that.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, I don't know. You can shop around there and get some deals, but man, you got to work it hard. Kauai is a very small island, so there's not a tremendous amount of competition, but they do have a Costco there.
Oh yeah, Kauai is beautiful.
It's just so gorgeous, man.
So high, it's like the Grand Canyon, but rainforest. I mean,
Yeah,
no.
4,000 foot cliffs just going straight up, and nothing but trees and greenery growing on them. It's crazy, man. Yeah, I got to take a helicopter ride around the island.
Oh my gosh!
Front seat, giant round window, nice bendy window, and it made all my pictures look like we live on a ball.
Saw so much curve. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I got a ton of video of everything. I don't know. I probably have 4 or 5 hours of video. I'll have to edit out, but it was a trip of a lifetime, no doubt.
Yeah, for real.
Good to be home.
Oh yeah.
Josh,
Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Josh,
Go ahead, Karen.
I don't know how long you've got to stay, but just a question. What's the thing you hate, or the thing that you've disliked, or whatever words you want to put in about the lies? What's the thing that's upset you the most about the lies?
The most is the children, because I work with the most awesome, precious children, and I see them every day. It's a battlefield. There's so much the enemy's throwing at these kids every day, and just watching their minds get shaped to the ways of the world. And that I sent a letter to the state superintendent about the evolution lies before I came into this, because I realized that it's of the spirit of the Antichrist. Anything that denies the Father and the Son, which you take away creation, you're denying the Father right there. There is no Son. So it's like everything that's against that, and it's pretty mainstream. I'm like, even the Roman Catholics, they push the evolution stuff, and it's that same spirit, and we don't realize that. But once I realized that's what it was, I was like, we're up. What we're up against. It's very, very mainstream, widespread. It's even in most religions and Christian religions, there's a lot of Antichrist type teachings in it that we don't even know. They just sneak in there. But that's the biggest thing to me is these children, and that's why I try to teach, and I try to use the word creation as much as I can. There's no one like them that's ever been created exactly like them with their exact DNA. I mean, they're something special. So it's unique to be around them, but at the same time, it's sad to see all the lies taught to them. Oops, y'all still there?
Sorry,
I got to jump on.
I was talking away and I was muted. What's the thing that you like the most about it?
I'd say the thing I like the most is just waking people up, like seeing people go, wow, that's so amazing, like that we've missed it, like there's a firmament there, we've missed it, we can now see it, there's footage of it, like there's so many different things that we can see and show people that it's proof to them. sorry, I'm losing my voice. I've been screaming at kids today, head coaching. But yeah, it's. Oh, hey, my brother's here. Y'all want to talk to my brother? My brother Michael from actually his logo is the one up on this channel, Grace and Truth Fellowship. I was going to let him say a few words.
Absolutely. We do.
Yeah, hold on. Here he is, right here. Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
Great.
Cool. My name's Kenny. My name's Kenny. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael. Cool.
Yeah, me and Josh, I've been told we sound a lot alike, so people always think we're the same person when they just hear our voice.
Yeah, you're just tricking us.
Yeah. It's just me. Yeah.
So you having a good day?
Yeah, we're doing good. We just finished a wrestling tournament.
So why don't you guys be like the Flat Earth Twins, man?
I know. We could have. I know.
Be a good name for you guys. Anyway, I'm a jokester.
We might change our names to that if they ever close his channel down. I'm telling them, I think we're going to get shut down pretty soon. The way it's been.
Yeah, nobody's. The thing is, they edit us out to kind of we can't be found. If you're searching, Christ and Flat Earth, whatever, probably just never be found. Few people find you. The ones that need to find you.
Yeah, it's true. I think
you know what I mean.
How he kind of came across it. He called me, and I'm sitting there, I have no clue what he's going to tell me, and he goes, "Hey, man, I got to tell you something," and it's in the middle of summer, and he goes, and he'd been praying a lot, and he'd been studying evolution a lot, things like that, because he teaches science, and I said, and he if it'd been anybody else that told me, I would have laughed and walked away, and me and him being twins, I said, I got to look into this.
Check it out.
It was one of those crazy things because you have those moments where you have doubt, and I remember looking up at the sky and going, man, if we really are, and this is years ago, looking at the sky and going, if we're just a speck of dust in the universe, I can see where people could doubt. And I remember thinking that what we're being told was true, and it does. It puts that seed of doubt in your head.
Yep.
And talk about blowing away all my doubts. I was like, man, the more I kept looking into it, and of course I teach math, so I was looking at the numbers and saying, well, sure, there's some kind of experiment.
Wait, this Pythagorean theorem, man. Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's crazy when you start to when things start to unravel, when you start realizing that it's mind-boggling how big the lies are, and how we sit in a classroom and we just listen to what they tell us, and we don't ask questions, and we remember everything they say. You can remember it and test on it, and we're good at it. But we're great.
Damn good. We're really good. You show us something, we get to do it, man. I'm a builder. I create things. It's like once I do it a couple times, I got it down.
Yeah. And I can remember.
But that first time is always, it's a little difficult to get through that first time. But
yeah, you have all the questions.
So we got to use you guys' teaching tools to help teach some other people and do it calmly and professionally and honestly.
Yeah.
Lovingly.
Hey, Josh.
Go ahead, Karen.
Yes.
It's Mike.
This is the twin brother here.
Mike said yes.
Yeah.
Who said
Mike
yes?
Helmick said yes.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
No, he's not here now.
He's
I'll arrange it.
Oh,
is he?
Oh,
no. I just messaged Mike, and he said, yeah, he'd like to do that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Not
See how
now.
things come together. I know, not now.
I'll arrange it with you, Josh. He'll do a hangout with you, Mike Helmick.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Mike's very knowledgeable about everything from Flat Earth to Jesus, man. He's got it down.
That's awesome.
And he's great.
Yeah.
Does some great videos, man. Really busting NASA's ass left and right, man.
Yeah.
It's too easy. It's too easy nowadays.
I think there's too many witnesses and too many people watching now that everything's getting caught. Used to, we just kind of zoned out.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I don't know. I first Flat Earth, man. I mean, I used to get a lot of flack. Oh man, constantly. Yeah. Now it's like I don't get as much flack at all, man.
No, since you've put your white jacket on, Flat Earth dude.
Right. I look like I'm really smart.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of younger
It's so easy because they don't even know their own model. I didn't know my own model. I was always into the moon. I love the moon. All about the moon. Hey, check out the moon tonight, man. Cool. Moonrise, moon set. I was always like into it, man.
Yeah.
My buddy would text me, go, dude, you see the moon tonight? This is 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Oh, cool, the moon. Check out the moon tonight. So I would do that, but then Flat Earth came along, and you're like, oh man, this is really interesting. Can't stop.
The common sense stuff that you never thought to ask. Like,
I go, wait a minute, we're spinning how fast?
Yeah, I never really listened to the numbers.
What?
And then I went,
we're shooting, we're zooming, we're rotating, we're all, what? Wait, time out.
You know what really got me was when I go to Hawaii every summer, and I'm on the beach, and there's an hour in the day when it feels pretty good, and then within an hour later it's extremely hot. And I said, how's that 93 million miles away? It's like getting close to a campfire.
Right.
Still the intensity.
Perfect campfire.
I'm like, wow, it's got to be closer than 93 million miles. We wouldn't even feel a difference within an hour.
93. Exactly.
Probably 9.3 miles away. Which one of you's talking?
Exactly.
This is Michael.
It's Michael. Karen, Karen. Love you, Karen.
Oh,
you guys
you said that you were.
I so missed hanging out with you guys for a week. Sorry, man.
Yeah, we missed you, Kenny. But I'm glad that you spent that time with your wife.
The time difference was just brutal. I mean, right now I'd just be having lunch, So, or it'd be just after breakfast actually. It's almost noon there. No, oh wait, no, it's almost 11 there. So I'm like, I don't know, what time is it? Anyway,
it's 10 o'clock here.
Back to
back to our
task at hand. So between your brother and you, man, the math and the science, man, it must have been really easy.
Yeah.
To kind of put the pieces together and go, oh wait, we got lied to about this and that.
The hard part for me was just realizing that I'd been kind of putting the Bible and trying to make it fit what we're being told.
Right.
I believe, I was real big on, I believe everything the Bible says, but when it came to Genesis, I said, maybe they were symbolic and maybe they were wrong, and
right.
Start going back and saying, man, why didn't I just look into it? Why didn't I just question science? It's almost like we try to fit the Bible to what we're being told, and it doesn't fit.
So it's bizarre. It hurts, man. It hurts. It really hurts, right? At first. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
I was just saying the Bible's a big code book. I mean, even when you take the words, we had an etymology class the other day with Martin Kenny and Josh, another Josh. And, even when you break all the words down, they don't mean half the words what you think they mean. And in that sense, so you're not reading what you think you're reading if you're not awake.
Yeah, the words. Funny because we were, when I was a kid, I always thought the Bible was translated directly to English, word for word, exact. And then you kind of realize that there's 450 translations and they don't all say the same thing. And yeah, we've got an accurate base to base it on, but our translators are very biased and very wrong a lot of times. So it's really important to kind of check their work.
The original text. The original text. Was it Samuel 11:11? Flat Earth.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Check it out. Check it out.
You have to look that up. Samuel 11:11.
11:11. I always see that on the clock.
Yeah.
I don't know if I look at a clock. 11:11 is the number I always see. He's 11:11 too. And it's Samuel 11:11. Flat Earth. Tell me that's not like something there, right? There's something there for sure.
And I keep seeing 141. I said, I wonder if there's anything with that, or is it just a weird coincidence?
I bet you the original text 141 probably is something.
Something. I'm like, when I find it, I'll know what it is.
Yeah, it might be Matthew or something. Who knows, right? One of them. That's funny. Yeah, man, we're in this matrix of a mind trip. Yeah, it kind of hurt at first. I was saying that you walk around, you kind of kick yourself for a few months, Yeah. Going, this is crazy, man. Then you go talk to people about it, and then they think you're crazy, and it's like gets worse, You're like, oh, fuck, man, help me out here, please. But no, then it comes back around, and then all of a sudden you start meeting all these people that are thinking the same way you are, and you're like, oh, this is.
Yeah, it's really good to talk to people who you can, because you feel like you have to be so isolated. At first, I felt very alone on it.
Totally, right?
I didn't want to bring it up, especially in my career. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
No, can't be going, hey, man, Earth's flat. They all lie to you. Here's the numbers. Let's check it out. No.
My brother got in trouble at work. They're like, you can't be, they somehow found one of his channels and were like, you cannot put your face behind this if you're, because if you teach, you don't want to be,
right.
You don't want your school to be associated with that. People think you're crazy.
Can't. It's, and that's where they kind of.
Two teachers go on strike because the Earth is flat and they don't want to. It's all a lie. The system's a lie.
We're gonna get there, Karen. That's gonna happen at some point. Not too far down the road. We're gonna have to.
Even the pilots. Come on, pilots.
The education system's got to be changed, and it's got to be more observational based.
Just the other day, I had a student saying the Earth is flat, and he would kind of laugh about it, and I never say it. I mean, he was on his own, just. And
you might say, "Hey, man, look into that.
Like he was
see
crazy."
what you can find.
He looked at me, and he just shook his head, like he knew it was. And so I don't know where he came across it, but I think it's spreading faster than we think. It's so silent.
Oh, no question about it.
So quiet on it.
No question. And we're getting helped out. We're ending up where we need to be and telling the people we need to tell about it. And the plan. It's coming together, man. I can feel it. I can see it.
It's really helping those people who were just blinded by science for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of them come to say, "Hey, I was an atheist, devoutly, evolutionist and everything." Until
all right, here's this dude. I'm just a guy that works on stringed instruments, man. I live a simple life. I don't make a lot of money, but I live well because I own a lot of my time, man. And whatever. Love the moon. I run into flat Earth, and I end up here with you guys, and I can't tell you how many other crazy. I got to debate a quantum physicist 3 times already for 6 hours total.
Wow.
And if you'd have told me I was going to be doing something like that 5 years ago, I'd have been like, you're freaking crazy, man. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't even, I'd love to talk to a quantum theoretical physicist, but I've gotten to freaking sit in a room with him for over 6 hours and kind of go around just like we're going around talking. Yeah. He believes this. Well, we believe that. And we believe, And if you'd have told me, I would have like, how did I end up here? God is just like, doot, 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 doot. You're going this way, pal.
Yeah.
I thought
studying evolution for so long and trying to figure out why there were so many lies involved in that, and I never went down the path of the Earth. It was just always, the Earth is a globe, but evolution is a lie, and everything just started when my brother started looking into it and praying about it a lot. And I remember he spent a lot of time praying, and he just came to me that one day, and I was like, wow, that had to be God bringing you to that, because we would have never on our own.
Never.
Big.
Yeah, it was really, I got to go on this botanical garden 3-4 hour tour, man, of this private botanical gardens in Kauai the other day. And
I love that place.
Shot a ton of video. I'll post it at some point. It's really cool. But I'm looking at all these different plants, man. They've planted, thousands and thousands of different plants. And all of these plants have a purpose.
Yeah.
And they're like, this one helps that. And this one helps your heart. And this is good for your feet. And this is, I'm like, we are living in the Garden of Eden, man. Yeah. No doubt about it. This place is absolutely amazing. And people don't see it. They think, oh, this is all just some freaky accident on a spinning ball shoot. What? Some big thing blew up out of nothing and created all this,
Yeah,
and
really
all the evolution thing with the dinosaurs. I wanted to jump in on that for a second because, I took another tour when I was in Hawaii on this bus, and the lady's really cool, man. She's a hip Argentinian. Totally cool. She's about 40, really young, fit, just newer stuff. Been there for 25 years, 30 years. knew all these. She's talking about all the geology of the island. Oh, this was 10 million years ago, and this was 20. And I'm just like shaking my head, going, no, no, it wasn't 20 million years ago, lady. You don't have no clue. I didn't get the flat smacker yet, but I got her cell phone number. I might send her a couple links there at some point.
Hawaii's beautiful. I spend every summer out there, and the mountains and everything is just breathtaking.
Are you kidding me? It's like
Oh, I know
crazy.
this one's talking now. Carry on.
No, it's really good. Anybody that gets a chance to go to Kauai, man, do it. If you like a small, intimate, beachy island, it's perfect. It's got little shops and little taco joints. They got food trucks. They got, you could literally walk the island, from one end to the other in like 2 days, probably. One day.
See that video by Eric Dubay, and I really don't like him much anymore, but he did one about dinosaurs and saying that they were being faked, and
right.
The evidence he put forward was very convincing that these fossils are all fabrications and that we've just been lied to about. And I thought, okay, I would never think to question that, but wow, I mean, the stuff he put was very good. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
Talked about the Masons were behind a lot of it, and they come up with the theory of dinosaurs, and then they find them. It's kind of like Bigfoot.
Right. They came up with the theory for space and vacuum and all that. And boy, wow, how convenient. It lines up exactly with what they're selling. Oh, this will work, man. We'll sell them vacuum of space. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Exactly like we said. That's the physicists. They can just make it up, and how are we going to know it's not true?
Right. So yeah, I'd heard it first, man. There was there was a lone time, and you're like, wow, freaking out. I'm like, can't talk to anybody. Wow. I'm watching videos, But the hangout thing, man, has really helped a lot.
Yeah.
I can get on, talk to people from all around the world, and it's like, okay, we got this.
Yeah.
Because these people are smart. They're teachers. They're scientists. They're whatever.
Yeah. Kind of really turned your head when you see this guy's an engineer, and here he is talking about how he believes it because of
Brian Mullen.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. That must have blown your head off, right?
Yeah.
You must have walked out of the room going, "Oh shit! Oh wow."
He made a good point in one of his videos. He said they never tell us to come up with a problem. They always give us the problems beforehand, and you don't think about it. You're just feeding into whatever you're told. Solve this problem. Here it is. Never test anything real.
Yeah, I'm no numbers guy, but watching Brian Mullen do that, explain it the way he explained it was real straightforward and made total sense. I went, uh-oh. We got a problem here, Captain.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife to this day thinks I'm nuts for even thinking this way. She won't look into it. And I'm like, just watch this. Just look at this. Nope. No.
Nah. My wife's like, I mean, I show her like a lot of the other symbolisms.
Yeah.
Like the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
And, different vector symbols, things like that. She'll point them out. She'll grab my shirt and tug on it and see that guy's wearing an all-seeing eye shirt.
Yeah.
Right there. And she sees that kind of thing, but she's not into flat earth like I am. Obviously, I'm way into it. And
has she looked into it at all?
Oh yeah, she thinks we're flat and not moving.
Oh yeah.
She's perfectly okay with it. Yep.
That's awesome.
This place was created. She knows that. There was no accident. Dinosaurs are fake. She knows that.
Did you see the recent?
But she's like one of these people, man. It's like, I get it. But she's never going to do anything about it. She's not going to flat smack anybody. She'll tell them about God or this place was created all day long, though.
Yeah.
That's her wheelhouse, man. I'm going to let her own it.
It's hard to open up that conversation, or you really have to kind of know somebody before you bring it up almost, see how they're going to figure it out or if they could even.
But we were, you, me, Karen, anybody, a lot of the people in the chat, we were all chosen to help get more people like us to see it, and they'll do something, and they're going to do something, and then so on, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it's building, and that's how I can see it growing right now. And I'm not into drama. I just into pure science and pure facts, and
But we never quite know what it all is, because in a sense you hear of all these people waking up, but in a sense our channels, I mean, all you've got to do is cough and put it out and there's a million people watch it. Yeah, on that, it's not like that.
No,
So
we're
suppressing.
being suppressed.
I've got videos I can see on the admin panel, the figure is higher, but on the bit you see, you know, live, it's less.
Oh yeah, the numbers, can't trust them.
Oh yeah.
I won't trust their numbers. I
In
do
like
love their hangout
hours,
technology though. I really
that
like
I've
that.
noticed a couple of these hangouts or videos, whatever it is, they've got wrong. But the panel says one thing, but the video say something different. And then we've been on where they, you know, someone in the chat room's gone, all your likes have gone. I've just watched them go down, and you think they never put them back.
Yeah, where are they going?
Yeah, they're running off to hold the ball up.
Yeah, we've lost 1,000 subscribers with really, and are that many people going to unsubscribe? You know?
No,
I don't think so.
No. Yeah, I get stuck. I'm like stuck at like a certain number for a very long time.
Oh yeah,
low number, you know. But
yeah, our channel went up to like 30,000 and then just stopped flat. Like, how does that happen?
My content's not for everybody, man. It's for the ones who find it and see it, and, you know. Yeah, hopefully I can capture something cool on video and share it, you know.
Yeah.
Or if I come up with a cool technique to do something, I want to share it, and then, but I'm not a really great video maker, but I'm okay, you know. At 5 out of 10, you know, I'm like in the middle.
Oh yeah, it's funny how things happen. My brother was really big into movies and wanting to make film and be a cameraman and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, where's this all coming from? And then here years later,
right,
YouTube channel, and I'm like, thank God you were into that for a while, because he kind of
it's coming in handy now.
He was like making our highlight tapes and adding videos and music and wanting to make movies, and then I'm like, you know, when is this going to help us? We're not going to go into Hollywood, you know. All of a sudden now he's like, he can put a video together overnight, you know. I'm like, oh,
right.
Yeah.
So you both got separate channels. Do you help each other out on your videos or information and stuff, or
we actually work right across the hall from each other, so we're talking a lot about, you know, what do we need to put it, and it's funny because we're being identical twins. Kids are always like, whoa, there's two of you, you know. But
that's great.
We're kind of back and forth.
What are you doing? We can hear it. Whatever you're doing, we can hear it.
Oh, here, I want you to hear it really loud this time. Can you hear it this time?
Is that a ratchet?
Dude, that's what I do. I'm sorry.
And I try to keep my channels that are separate channels, Grace and Truth, more just Bible stuff, and kind of, because there were so many big questions people always had, you know, like, you know, why did bad things happen if God's always good? And why did my child die? And there's all these big questions that were answered wrong. And I was like, I need an outlet just for that. It's something where when people are confused about God and who he is, they can go there and say, oh, it makes sense. And, you know, and something that I wanted to have a channel that I could share with coworkers and friends, because our other channel, it's like top secret. You know, we're not allowed to really put anything behind it that's us.
Yeah, you can't put your name behind it.
You put a face, a picture, video, you know, anything like that. So it's good to have something I can say, hey, check out, you know, you want to know about that, look at our video, you know, watch this channel.
It's perfect.
So why do you think we're here then, guys? Why are we here? Because it just seems like we're just producing the next generation of slaves at this rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems that way. I don't think it's, I don't know, maybe we're unraveling.
I've seen a lot of, I hear a lot of talk, and I kind of listen to my kids when they're talking, when I'm not talking to them, just hearing their conversations. A lot of them are waking up, and they're kind of hip to this new idea that we're being lied to, we're being controlled, and they're hungry for truth, I think. And I think the idea that we're being deceived is a little bit more accepted now than it would have been maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, you know.
I agree.
The thing is, it was here, and then I said in the 1990s they just got rid of it on the internet or documents. It just stopped. So that what you do is, when you sort of disappear it for a few generations, then they go, what's all this about?
Yeah, where do we go?
Other generations don't know, but it's never been anywhere but here.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole idea of whenever somebody says do your research, they say Google it. You know, we go to Google and we look at the top 10 searches. If Google,
forget it.
If they're suppressing information, we're going to them to get truth, and we don't look past the third page,
No,
you know.
no, you got to send them a link, man. You got to send them a link to one you think will appeal to them, because we all know there are different styles of video makers for Flat Earth, and there's some great ones, man. You know, Brian Mullen was really great with his style. I mean, it's going to appeal to like a guy like Mike, man, totally. Yeah. But if your buddy's into surfing, man, maybe you're going to send him some more of the pictures from a high altitude balloon or the flat level or things like that. You know, that's going to appeal to their sense of you. So you kind of feel, if you know somebody and say, well, I think they would understand this, send them a link, man. Don't tell them to research it on their own, because they'll end up with NBC or something, and you'll be like, what? They're making fun of Flat Earth rather than really.
Searches are always, look how stupid these
giving you
are.
Real science and real information.
Yeah.
Real numbers, man. If you know a numbers guy, send him a Brian Mullen one, man, all day long, right?
Yeah.
Check out Brian Mullen. Send him that. I don't know who hosts his videos. I forget. But there's one guy who has all of Brian Mullen's videos on his channel.
Yeah, I really like his videos, and I got a coworker who's real smart in math, and he somehow found out through the grapevine, through a Facebook like, I don't know what happened. He's like, "You're one of those flat Earth people, aren't you?" And I never really confirm or deny it, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. And
so it looks flat.
Yeah, you kind of wonder, like, what would it take for somebody that intelligent, who's a master's level in mathematics, to hey, do the math yourself, look it up.
You got to prove it to yourself. Here's the numbers. Do you know the numbers? Do you know where
your friends and family into this? Is it, you said your dad is quite open now and everything. Are all your friends and family into understand Flat Earth?
My sister kind of shocked me, because I came to her thinking, and she's kind of an atheist in a way, and she's kind of like in New Age, and I said, hey, Elizabeth, and I sent her the video link, and I said, have you looked into this? And she was, oh yeah, I already knew that. I'm like, why did you not tell me? So she was kind of open to it. It's like, now my sister,
I already knew that.
And I'm like, well, I would have shared this with you right away. But my dad was really against it at first, and he was like, no, you guys are crazy. And he gave us all these different reasons why, and he was telling us, just stop looking at YouTube videos. You're going down the wrong hole. And then
stop educating yourself.
Yeah, he was like, you know what? Maybe you're right.
Stop looking at all those flat Earth numbers. Stop it. Actually, Dad, I've been looking at all the globe numbers, and guess what?
Yeah.
They don't add up.
Yeah, he had told my brother, a couple years ago, look at the Bible like you've never seen it before. And then when he finally does, he goes, look what I found out. He's like, no, that's all wrong. Like, he told me to look at it this way.
Yeah, that's
literally true.
Just remember to have a smile on your face when you're talking to people about where they live, man, because they don't know where they live. They have no clue, man. We didn't have a clue either, man.
Crazy to think.
4 years ago, right?
It's weird to kind of think about my mindset back 3 years ago. It's totally different. I had questions that I just kind of never wanted to even look at, never wanted to answer.
We were chosen to be the ones to help get this show down the road. I think Flat Earth now has enough legs on its own, to just keep going. But I'm not going to stop until, I guess I'm dead. I'll be dead. That's when I'm stopping.
Josh was telling me, he was saying, I feel like we need to do more. I feel like we're coming. We need to branch out more. We need to.
You got to remember, man. You're gonna run into the people that you're for a reason, man. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Why, I don't know half the time, but my friend broke his car down last night in a town, I don't know, 550 miles from me.
It's a 1 in a million chance he was going to meet up with your friend, though, isn't it, Flat Earth dude? One in a million.
I know one guy in Kingman, Arizona. One guy. My friend Dave breaks down there, and my friend was the guy that towed him.
Wow.
To a place called TNT Auto, and I was in a band with Jamie, who lives in Kingman. It was called TNT. So I am totally convinced. I am beyond convinced that we are on the right path. I am definitely on the right path. We all are, man, in our own ways. And we just keep moving forward one day at a time, and we're going to get this, man. It gets to synchronicities, and it's just, it's our creator putting it together real nicely. Just like he put together all those beautiful plants all amazing plants over the botanical gardens,
God is moving in a powerful way. Yeah, there is some outpouring of the Spirit, and
it's going.
I always wondered, what's the great deception? I used to always wonder that. Well, everyone's going to be deceived, even the elect, if that's possible. And what is it? What is it? Well, I think we're staring right at it.
We are walking right through it with our head held high and a smile on our face and going, yep.
Can I ask the question then, as we've got a maths teacher and a science teacher here, in a scientific way, what's your favorite flat earth one?
Great question.
Favorite what?
What's your favorite flat earth proof?
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite proof? God, it's hard to say, but I think what really got me when I saw the photos without a fisheye lens of this flat horizon from 75,000, all these thousands of feet up, and then they showed the stars moving in perfect circles and how they had never changed location at all for thousands of years. And that's something I always noticed. I see the same stars every night after night, year after year.
Yep.
If we're moving at the speeds they say, those stars would have at least moved a hair, but they don't, and they wouldn't be making perfect circles over our heads like they do. You would see all kinds of different patterns from the different motions of the earth. Oh, well, we're just so far away that you can't see movement. Oh, we see a lot of movement. It's just in a perfect circle. So to me, that was a big one, seeing the stars and the movement of the stars. And
it's a good one.
And Antarctica too, like I was whenever I first heard of it, I said, well, there's got to be an edge, and that's just stupid, And they go, wait a minute, wherever you go, there's this ice wall. And I thought, okay, I can kind of think that way. But I imagined the pictures I saw of a boat floating off the edge of the earth. And
right.
I was like, I think our instinct is what we saw in elementary school. Yeah, people thought the earth was flat. And here's this boat sailing over the edge. That's just stupid.
Yeah. Which brother has answered which bit then? Or is it one brother?
I think my brother was on earlier for a while. Yeah,
oh, he's gone now, has he? Oh, right. So we're back with Josh. Okay.
You got
I missed that one then.
Dude, you guys sound a lot alike.
Even my wife can't tell us apart.
That's crazy. God, that's awesome.
I couldn't tell the difference. You sounded very the same.
Even on video, you'd probably be like, wait, which one is that? Yeah, we look fairly similar. I'm just a little bit better looking than he is, I guess.
Josh, just to let you know, because I know it is actually quite tiring being on Hangouts. We've been going for a couple of hours. Okay. How much more time have you got to give us? I don't know how long you want to be on, because we've had 6-hour Hangouts, as they go on. But I mean, I don't know if you want to stay that long. But
hey, how long do you want to stay on? Oh, I was about to have to get off.
Well, okay. A bit longer.
Back on. It's been great talking with you guys. I think he's got to go, so I'm going to let him say a few words. But thank y'all for having us. It's been a blessing.
Oh.
Hello.
Michael.
It's Josh now, so thank you for...
Oh, right. Oh, God. I'm confused now.
Yeah, that's we are the Flat Earth Brothers, and I wanted to let him say some things, because when I started this channel, I pictured it just being me and him, and doing a lot of videos together and putting our faces out there and stuff. And then when I realized I'm not going to do that, it was kind of like I make the videos, we talk about things, collaborate, and I put some of his videos on my channels. But when you're in the line of what he's doing with the scripture and exposing some of those lies, he gets a lot of hate too. So and a lot of
I know, it's horrible, isn't it? It's not like we go over to we don't go over to other channels and write horrible things to them.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I ever have done that.
And actually, when you think about it, when you think about what they've told us about moving in 3 different directions, one anti-clockwise with the moon, with us going 1,000 miles at the equator, but nothing at the poles and all that, and you add it up and it comes to whatever 1,000 miles an hour and Mach 80, I don't think we're the mad ones.
Yeah, I know. You just ignore the
I've already made my daughter hang her head out the window. She's not really into it because it's not the hip. If her friends were into it, it'd be different. But I've already done it. We were going about 50 miles an hour, and I said, "Put your head out the window. Go on." And she was going, "Oh, right."
I get it. How old is your daughter?
Oh, she's now 19. She's gone out for the night.
Wow. See, I have a 19-year-old. My stepson, he's 19. He's about to be 20 in January, and it was really cool to me because he had this big struggle with like atheism and stuff. Even though he's been raised around us, he just is like, I'm gonna just not really believe in anything. Not really sure what to believe, but he was really struggling with that. And when I just shown him one video. I said, Alex, I found the best one I could find. This is before I started putting them out. I said, you need to watch this. And he watched it, and he's like, when he got done watching it, he just sat there real quiet, and he was like, that's crazy. He's like, my mind, I just feel like you raped my mind. I don't know what you did. He's like,
I suppose that's a good way of putting it, isn't it? But I don't want to mention it, but that's a good way of putting it.
He's like, I said, what do you think? And he goes, I'm angry. He's like, we've been lied to. I'm angry. He's like, that must mean that like God is real, And I was like, wow. Just to hear him say that was like, see how fast that was, like a 20-minute video, of just showing
Did you give him a hug for that one?
Yeah, it was so cool. And Amber, she didn't want. This is before my wife, before she was really believing it and in on it. She didn't know what to think, but once she saw that, she was like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe I'll look into it. So it was kind of cool there in that aspect. Yeah, Mike, my brother's leaving. But yeah, I was going to go ahead and get off here. My family made it back. I know they'll start getting loud. You'll hear my little girl yelling. We want her to have an accent like yours. When we went to London, get back when they had the Olympics, what year was that? 20 something, 12, 13, 14, I don't know. But we went back down there on a trip. My wife likes to travel. We've been all around the globe, and we went down there, and the way the little kids talk was so adorable. We're like, we need to move here if we have a girl while she's little, to let her learn to talk like that. So it'd be cute.
Oh, well, if we finish now, can we say goodbye off air, but we'll say goodbye on air to everybody. And thank you so much for everybody who's been listening in on the chat room. And thank you to Michael. Thank you to Flat Earth Dude, and obviously to you, Josh. But we'll say goodbye off air, but we'll finish on air now. And we're back on Monday with CC here, if everybody knows who CC is. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you a lot, Josh. Very nice.
You very much. Y'all have a good one.